Good afternoon and welcome to Battle Pickering, home of this year's National Axe Throwing Championship, hosted by the National Axe Throwing Federation. My name is Tom Black. Beside me is Ian Bobby Christensen, and we will be with you here today, bringing you all the live action of the semifinals and finals as we move forward here today.
Welcome, everybody. We're incredibly excited. This is the largest urban axe throwing tournament that has ever been held. We are looking at a field of 192 competitors over the course of the day. You know, we could not be more excited. We really want to show you the depth and the scope of how incredible this competition has been. You know, at this point, we're going to bring the bracket up so you can see exactly how big the competitive field was. If you can see, you can barely read the names. They're not legible because this bracket is so large. 192 competitors over the course of 3 separate venues in the Greater Toronto area here in Canada. They've whittled down to the top 64, being shuttled in from different areas over the course of the day, starting as early as 10 a.m. We are now going through this bracket, and we're going to bring you some of that live action. You know, Tom, if you want to speak a little bit towards this prize pool.
Yes, so thanks to our sponsors here today, they have allowed us to provide a $20,000 prize pool, which will go to the top 12 players today. As you can see there on your graphic, the first prize takes home $10,000 today. Second prize takes home $3,500, while third place goes home with $2,000. As we move on to the next page here, fourth place will be taking home $1,000. Fifth and sixth take home $750. Seventh and eighth will go home with $500 each, and 9 through 12 will walk away with $350.
As you can see, it's the largest prize pool ever collected for an urban axe throwing tournament, and we couldn't be happier to bring it to you today. It's just, I mean, if you're looking around the room, it's something a little breathtaking to see all these people in the same place to celebrate this sport. And we really couldn't do that without some of our sponsors, right?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, if we're talking about these people who've made this huge event possible, you know, if I want to single some people out, Home Depot, Royal Bank of Canada, Bose Beer, Woodhouse Brewery. I want to talk about Cherry Street Barbecue, who's in the back, providing everybody some delicious food. Bait Shop doing the screen printing of T-shirts for all our competitors. We have, of course, Pfaff Harley Davidson, you know, chiming in with some prize money for our competitors. It wouldn't be possible. There are too many. You can see them up on the screen. Too many sponsors to go through. They've all been incredibly generous in supporting our sport and our community. We want to give a big thank you to all of them.
Yes, without them, as you said, it wouldn't be possible here today. They've too many to mention all at once, but you can see them all popping up on your screen there. We will be joining action live here between Stron Riley, last year's champion, and Cinna. So as we come into this one here, we're in round one. We're on the third axe as both players have thrown 3 straight bullseyes, and we are tied at 15 heading into the fourth axe.
As you can see, they have very similar throws. It's this easy step and very smooth release. Not surprising, as both of them actually worked together at Battle Pickering. So I could see a little bit of emulation between the throws of Stron, our champion from last year, and Cinna, his former compatriot here.
As you saw there on the final axe, both players hit their clutches. That's the 2 green dots up in the top left and right corners. They are worth 7 points each. The highest point value on the board, but can only be thrown on that 5th and final throw. And we are now in Big Axe to decide round number 1. We start off with points, highest point value.
Think of Big Axe almost like a sudden death match. If the players are matching their throws, then we continue on until we have a winner.
Both players hit a 3 on their first throw, which is a little uncharacteristic for both of these players. Cinna is a little low, and he throws a 3, putting his hands on his head.
I think that it's interesting seeing that fall step, the way that he's putting both of his feet together and falling into it rather than keeping his feet spaced apart.
And a bullseye there from Stron, and he'll take a 1-0 lead here in the match.
Remember, these matches go best 3 out of 5.
Yes.
That's just one match. We have a possible 2 to 4 more, depending on how things shake out.
We will be moving into best 4 out of 7 as we get into the later rounds, but for the next few rounds, it will be best 3 out of 5.
I love these easy throws. You can see them, they're actually stopping just ahead of the red fault line. Some people come as close as stepping on the fault line, which is perfectly legal. Stepping over the fault line, of course, is not, and that would cause a fault, which causes the loss of that person's throw. Right now we're coming into 4th acts. Everyone is tied at bullseyes. And just to remember, everybody, in NATF rules, we go by majority of blade. So if you see something that is touching black with only a tiny portion of the tip of their blade, that would not count. It has to be the majority of your blade. And there we go, 2 clutches called and 2 clutches hit.
We'll head back to the big axe here to decide round number 2. I expect that every round of this match should probably head to big axe, as both these players are very consistent hitting their bullseyes, as you've seen through the first 2 rounds so far.
So it is always interesting to me, something that they worked out before the match even started, is they were going to swap off who starts throwing big axe. Rather than doing a rock, paper, scissors or some kind of, determination of who is going to kick things off, they're just going to swap every time they go to the tiebreaker. It's a nice gentlemanly play. I like it.
And a tough break there for Cinna as he throws a little bit high, and Stron takes a 2-0 lead here. Cinna is going to need to win this round 3 to force a round 4 and stay alive in the match. This is the A bracket, so Cinna, a loss is not the end of his day. He will move on to the B bracket. But it's a tough sledge from there.
There really is no room for error as soon as you're in the B bracket. You need to go all out from the moment you find yourself in that position.
Both players hit double bulls again.
Sitting at 4th acts, all tied up. This is another thing to note, which is very interesting, is how long they've been throwing. Both of these players have been throwing an A bracket since 10 a.m. this morning.
It's true.
It's a marathon of throws. They're both going upstairs now. They're going for clutch in their final throw. That might be a little questionable.
Stron hits. Cinna tight, but no, he's in there. The angle almost cost him, but he tucks it in, and again, 4 straight bullseyes and clutch for the super perfect round of 27 from each player, and that's 3 straight rounds with that. We go back to bullseyes for big axe.
Quick note of the rule, before either player could call clutch with bullseye, they have to be able to sink a bull, or call clutch with big axe, I should say. They have to be able to sink a bullseye.
It's a new rule that was implemented for 2019.
There we go. Another example of majority rules. Majority of that axe is in the bullseye, so it counts.
Measuring from the outside of that line in toward the middle, and then the part of the axe that's outside of that line and up. And the majority rules, as Ian said there. As they go clutches this time, and Cinna high.
I really do think this 2-step, the way that he's falling into it, I think that's hurting him a little bit. It doesn't give you any room for error in your balance when you're moving into a big axe throw. Whereas if you watch Stron, his setup, shoulder length apart, feet one in front of the other, nice and steady and balanced, and he'll step into his throw.
And even just seeing his technique has changed even slightly from his throw last year when he won the championship. He wasn't happy with it, so he critiqued a little bit, and now he's back with a whole new style and throwing for clutches again.
Yeah, throwing clutches again. It really is. This is such a sport where you have to challenge yourself individually, where you have to really push the limits of what you're doing, and it shows a lot of fortitude when you start to critique yourself at that level.
Yeah. Well, and you see the skill level of these players have forced rule changes in the NATF. As last year there was still, you'd throw for a paint value, you just had to touch a paint value, and then both players would throw for points.
Well, that's good. There's a clutch there for Stron.
Matt Widow is out to have a look here, and he says yes, it's good. And Stron Riley moves on in the A bracket. Cinna gets bounced into the B.
So Stron takes it in a sweep. All 3 matches, best 3 out of 5.
Just to finish the thought on the big axe there, so then the rule change for this year is that now both players, as you mentioned earlier, paint is no longer an option. You start right into the points as it should be, and both players have to hit that bullseye before clutch can then be called and they can go upstairs.
Absolutely. We're just finding, every single year we're evolving the rules a little bit more because the competition gets so much stiffer.
Yeah.
When people are improving at such an exponential rate, you have to make things a little more difficult.
For
you know?
Sure. The skill level of the players goes up, and the rules have to adapt accordingly. They're just keep pace with the skill of the Stron Rileys of the world. Great job out there, Stron.
I love this. Earlier in the day, as we were watching, there were a couple matches where, even though Stron won, there were a few shaky throws. I think it was, even the best of us are still human when it comes to this competition. He was having his minutes where he needed to get his sea legs under him in the competition and actually, settle in.
Yeah.
I think there are some people who start off very hot and start to slow down because this is a bit of a marathon, and other folks who take a little time to warm up, but once they're there, they're throwing fire.
Yeah, by the time you get to this point, you get into your rhythm, you get into your groove and start throwing those bullseyes, hitting those clutches as you go, but definitely starting with 192 people at the start of the day and getting us down to this point it's grueling, if nothing else.
Yes, absolutely. I think to look at the 192 person field, you have to think there's a little bit of a disadvantage sometimes in staying in A bracket because there are gaps.
Yeah.
When you're in B bracket, by that I mean you've lost one of your games, so now you're fighting back to get to the winner.
Right.
When you're in B bracket, you will naturally throw a few more games. You're a little more active. So the tournament brackets are created that way to always give the underdog a chance.
Yeah, for sure.
The amount of downtime that somebody who's still in A, like those two throwers we saw, is a little bit of a detriment if you start warming up too early in the competition.
Sure.
You know? You're heating up and you're starting to hit your clutches, hit your bullseyes dead on. You don't want to burn out.
No, yeah, you want to. You're bang on with it. It's a marathon, not a sprint. As we watch and thank our sponsors yet again as they roll through the screen there. This day would not be happening without them. The 192 people would not have been here today without our sponsors. So we thank them greatly as you see them roll along our screen there. But as we take a look at that last match that we just watched between Stron Riley and Cinna, both players were perfect.
Yeah.
Both players were super perfect.
Yeah, better
and
than
we have
perfect.
a loser that got swept.
It's wild to think of that this is the level the competition is at. Just to come back to that point, a perfect match, all bullseyes, would actually be 25 points. Right. Because, as you can see in the target, bullseyes worth 5, red rings worth 3, the blue rings worth 1 point. Because of the evolution of the sport, the clutches were introduced in order to give the underdog, like we said, a chance at the competition to be able to come back if they were down. Those clutches are worth 7 points each. Now, years later, we're talking the sport was invented in Toronto here in 2006 by Battle specifically and has proliferated itself all across the world. Now we're looking at a level of competition that's so good that 27s are the new standard, the new gold standard. And now Big Axe is the new gold standard.
As we just saw,
Big Axe.
27 wasn't good enough.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough.
Both players threw the super perfect 81, and one of them's moving down to the B bracket.
Yeah, I think, besides thanking our sponsors, I want to thank all of the NATF members who have participated all through the 2018 season and who are here with their competitors. This is one of those competitions that's truly representational. Every single member of the NATF all across the world has the opportunity to send their competitors to this competition. It is the best of the best, but we take from everybody. And I think that the original playing field was actually 465 people. Now we're going to another match. We're going to cut to Stefan and Jacob.
So Stefan Herta, former champion here of the National Axe Throwing Championships. He is on the right side of your screen. And Jacob will be on your left. Just going to take a look here and see where Jacob is hailing from today. As both players, Stefan is a little bit tight there.
Yeah, you're going to probably have to do a measurement to make sure that that's all good. So this is what happens when we're talking about the majority of the blade. Sometimes if there's any question, the officials will have to come in and do a measurement with the calipers to make sure it's good. Majority counting the paint is good. That is a bullseye.
So we have Stefan Herta and Jacob Robbins. Jacob Robbins from London, Ontario, from Battle London. Stefan Herta hailing from Galleria Mall location. That will be moving actually this year.
moving to the stockyard.
To the stockyards. Great stuff there as we look forward to that location, new battle location opening up.
Another device. Now you start to see this. Some opponents make sure that they device something that's pretty clearly a bullseye in order to give themselves a breathing room. That's not what's happening here. I think there might be a little fatigue on Stefan's side. He missed low, he missed high. You've got to wonder if the day is starting to get to him. He's a seasoned competitor, so it's definitely not nerves.
Yeah, he's not new to this. He's as we look to the banners in the rafters here, we've got three with his name on it anyway, as he looks to get a fourth.
There was a while where Stefan was unbeatable. He was the giant, and nobody could topple him. It wasn't until we got to Stron Riley last year that we saw a new face. Another 2 bullseyes.
So we head to the 5th and final acts. Stefan leading by 2 points as Jacob hit a 3 on his second throw. Clutch called by Stefan as he wants to put it away and not leave it to chance, and he splits it in half and gives the crowd a yell.
Fired up. He is fired up.
Split that clutch right down the middle as you saw on your screen there just moments ago.
Good
Great
strategic
throw.
play. I like that move. If you're up by 2 and really have a chance to take the lead, there's nothing stopping you from making that happen.
Just put it away. If you miss, then that leaves it open for the competitor, but these guys are confident in their throws. They know they can get those clutches, so they want to put that game away and not leave it to chance. You hit the bullseye, maybe you end up in big axe, and if you're not a great big axe thrower, then you don't want to leave it to that and end up losing in something you're not.
If you have any doubt in your big axe game, you want to make sure that you're trying to put it away right off the bat.
And Jacob has found his groove again as he hits 4 straight bullseyes after throwing a 3 in round number 1 on his second axe. He has hit bullseyes ever since, and we are tied here on the final axe at 20. Clutch hit by Jacob. And Stefan is a little bit low, but he says he's good.
It's good. I can see
and
it
just
from here.
touching there.
Just remember, clutch, all you need to do is break paint for the clutch. Dissimilar to the actual target where you're going for the majority of your blade. Clutch, if you break paint, you are absolutely good.
Yeah. Yep.
They've just worked out a swap. They're going to do exactly what we were talking about with Cinna and Stron. Jacob's going to start this round. If they tie again, Stefan will start. It really depends. Some people are a little superstitious about starting. They'd rather be the second thrower with big axe to see what the first person got. When I was throwing in competition, I tended to enjoy throwing first.
Yeah.
I like to set the tone.
Put the pressure a little bit on your opponent and make them make a decision. So Jacob to throw here as both players have hit their bullseyes here. So clutches are now live, and they have both chosen to throw for it. Jacob throws, and he's just wide to the left side of that right-hand clutch.
He definitely had a line on it. I think, where you line up is really important in these clutches.
Splits that left clutch right in half and gives another yell to the crowd.
I think there's something a little calculated with some of those yells.
Some of those yells trying to just switching sides.
Almost messed that up. That could have possibly been a loss of a throw.
So each player, after each round, you switch sides. Even if you head to big axe, you still make that switch with your opponent just to keep things fair and keep it even. They do a rock, paper, scissors at the start to decide whether you're on the left or the right-hand side, and from there you just rotate each round as the match moves along.
A lot of it has to do with board fidelity. Some people like more of a chewed-up board, something that's worked in. Some people enjoy throwing on a fresh board because they like the even plane. Personally, if you're good enough, you should be able to throw on anything.
On any board, yeah. And you hear that quite a bit around the whispers through the venue today. Not worried about that fresh board. They just want to make sure that they've got a good board in there and they're ready to go. So we head to the final acts of round number 3. 2-0 Stefan here in the match.
Going clutch.
Double clutch called. Jacob might be a bit high, but it looks like he's good. And Stefan is definitely in. Jacob.
Oh, no.
Jacob says no. And Stefan Herta moves on to the next round.
What a performance. Another sweep.
Great game.
Stefan is fired up. Look at that man.
Now Jacob isn't done yet. He will move on to the next set of B bracket.
It's the thing with a double elimination. This tournament, it really does even the playing field. Love the format that one loss doesn't put you out.
Yeah, yeah. You can bounce back yet, and Jacob's had a great day today so far. Clearly getting to this point, he's thrown well. Had a couple missed throws there in rounds 1 and 3 that cost him the round, but from now on, he just has to forget about that, move on, and head into the B bracket.
Sure thing.
So we'll have...
Who do we got next, Tom?
LaChance and S. Robinson.
Spencer Robinson.
Spenny, I believe, is coming up. Cinna, who we watched just previous. And Machado coming up. But we'll see who will be playing on this side, as the choice will be made by Machado. Machado will have the... As we are moving in the backdrop here behind us to get things ready, as we pan through the crowd, you can see just the vast number of people here today taking in the competition. As we said, we started at 3 venues today. We started at Villiers, as well as our Yorkdale location, Battle Yorkdale, and Battle Pickering. All 3 venues have come down into one here for the final few rounds. As our banner comes sliding in behind us here.
There we go.
We'll try not to knock
it's
it over
official.
while we're up here.
Welcome to the NATC
Welcome
2019.
Sponsored by NATF. Or hosted, sorry. Hosted, not sponsored.
The NATF, the National Axe Throwing Federation, here with members from all around the globe. We're very excited.
As they pass some chairs up to us. Oh, there's one behind you there as well, Ian.
Fantastic.
If you would like to see.
We're going to thank our sponsors again. I'd love everybody to pay attention to some of these great organizations that believe in our sport and believe in our community. Special thanks to Bo's Beer, keeping us all hydrated, to Sherry Street Barbecue, keeping us full of sweet meat, the Greater Good Bar, making sure our competitors have a place to drown their sorrows.
Or
Fogle
celebrate
Rubinoff.
the victories, I mean.
Obviously, Gardner Roberts, thank you so much. Longtime sponsor of the NATC, MNP, the exact same, accounting needs. And Pfaff Harley Davidson, another partner of the NATF. Thank you so much. RBC, huge supporter of what we're doing. One of our major sponsors this year, the Doc Ellis, one of the best bars in Toronto. One of the original clubhouses for the Backyard Axe Throwing League. Woodhouse Brewing, another delicious local tasty beverage. And all of you guys for believing in what we're doing and making sure that axe throwing continues in all its glory here at the NATC.
As we prepare for our next match here between Max Machado and Cinna.
We've got Cinna and Max Machado. Both have been throwing very well. Machado actually took some really tough competition out early on in the competition. Really took some competitors the limit. We're really excited to have these guys in front of us. This is just a playing field of experts.
Oh, for sure, 100%. Like, you've got people that are ranked in the hundreds that could easily be ranked in the top 10. Like,
oh, absolutely.
The rankings are based on how you qualify from your leagues, your home venue leagues, and where you place in those. So if you're in a tougher league, you may end up with a lower rank coming into this tournament and find yourself playing somebody that could otherwise be ranked in the top 10.
Right. And just to remember, even though this is the 2019 NATC, this is amalgamated from all the stats from competitors in the leagues over the calendar year of 2018. So similar to the Super Bowl happening in February for the 2018 season, it's the same thing for us. We are running all the course of these games in 2018, and the top finishers with champions points have the opportunity to first compete in round 1. Round 1 is hosted on January 6th, and it was 465 competitors.
Right.
Out of those 465, only 192 made it through.
And even that's a huge step up in just the growth of the sport over the last year even.
Every year it's bigger, every year it's better. No, it is a real impressive feat to see what some of these competitors have even accomplished in one calendar year. From last year to this, to see some of these people who, you know, are 2 and out last year, 2018 NATC, already still in the competition, still in A bracket, having improved their game so much that they're giving seasoned veterans a run for their money.
For sure. And as you see here, we have, it's not just battle, it's all the members of the National Axe Throwing Federation. Our match coming up here that we're going to be watching will be Max Machado from Rage Axe Throwing in Montreal.
Yep. Now Max has been a great, one of those great ambassadors for Rage. He's a frequent flyer of some of the tournaments in the U.S.
Yep.
Last seen at the Choptoberfest tournament in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
So as well as thanking our sponsors, thank you, a big thank you to all the NATF members that you mentioned earlier for being here today and helping grow this sport.
Absolutely. You know, these NATF members are why the NATF has become what it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people believe in us from the beginning and are new members every single month joining up. They are the lifeblood of the sport.
Right.
You know, we're bringing people in who believe in not only what we do, but what it represents to do something as fringe as axe throwing and make it a mainstream sport. Without them, we wouldn't have such an amazing turnout, and we wouldn't have just such a great community of throwers.
And you see some of the camaraderie there as the players do rock, paper, scissors, best 2 out of 3 to decide whether you're on the left or the right-hand side. And Max and Sinowicki having a little bit of fun there with the rock, paper, scissors before their match starts. And both players starting off strong with double bullseyes. Here in round number 1. Still best 3 out of 5 here. Ooh, and a tight low from Sinowicki.
Now, because the bottom of Sinowicki's axe is rolled out, he's asking for a device. I think that's a little bit hopeful.
It's a bit hopeful, but you never know. The paint is in your favor, as we like to say, so it could be okay with that bottom portion of the axe up, but you never want to leave it to chance here at this stage of the tournament anyway. You want to get that device out. When in doubt, device it out, I like to tell our...
It's looking close.
And it is good.
A 5.
So it fooled us.
Good move.
So it's a good call from Sinowicki as he gets that 5 points and keeps the match tied at 10. Pardon me, keeps the round tied at 10.
Like we were saying before, starting to miss low, especially consistently missing low on the target, is a bit of a sign of fatigue.
Yeah.
This far into the tournament, this deep into what's going on, it's very indicative of somebody losing a little bit of their arm power if you consistently see those, you know, deviceable throws. And to be fair, there are some competitors who will throw something questionable just to give themselves a little bit of a break.
And it speaks to the skill level of the sport at this point. If you're able to place it in such a way that you can need the device, as Machado is close there.
It's going to be
a device. If Sinowicki got 2 tight ones there, so he's encouraging Machado to have a device at it. Don't just pull that one out. He looks a little skeptical that it's going to work in his favor, but Matt Widow's out to give us a measure here with the device. And it is in fact a 3, but it was close.
Final axe. This is the question. Is Sinowicki going to go and try to close it out with a clutch, or is he going to go bullseye?
He has a 2-point lead here on the final axe.
Clutch called. He's going to close it out if he can.
Through the elbow, but he's high.
So Max is going to just go for points.
And he
bullseye
does.
To win.
And that puts it away. And that's the risk we were talking about earlier in our last match, whether you go for it or not. Stefan went for it. He split it in half. That ends that round.
Right.
Here, Sinowicki misses, leaves the door open for Machado. Little risk reward, but...
Nice clean bullseyes from our competitors right now. It could just be jitters, you know. I don't want to say that, well, it's rotating a little low.
Tucks it in. So we stay tied. Axe number 3 here in round 2 as Sinowicki pops it back up into the middle of the bullseye there. Machado matches, keeping us tied at 15. Into the 4th act. Now this is the B bracket now. We are playing a B bracket match, which means a loss here marks the end of the day for one of these 2 competitors.
They're going upstairs, going for clutches.
We're tied at 20, so we have ourselves a good old-fashioned clutch party here. And there, Cinna makes the adjustment and gets it. Machado looks like he's just low. He has a look and he gives the thumbs down himself. So Cinna has tied the match 1 round apiece.
One thing you'll see with Max's throws is they are almost under rotating. They're touching very close. Handle to blade, almost both at the target.
As we're tied 1-1 here, heading to round number 3. The two players just having a little bit of a moment there. Take a breather. And we move forward here. Double bowls. Tied at 5, axe number 2 of round 3. Machado now on your left, Cinna on the right. And a perfect throw there from Machado. Straight down the pipe. Cinna matches. As you can hear some excitement coming through our mics from some of the other matches taking place in the venue yet. On the far side, we just had a clutch. Big axe clutch from Spenny, as they are currently tied. Spenny and LaChance tied at 27, 1 round apiece in round 3 as well. And a big axe clutch from Spenny as he awaits LaChance's throw. And LaChance hits and the crowd goes wild. We know we don't have video on that one as we're currently watching Matt Widow devising Max Machado's throw here.
It's a little tight. He's definitely doing a few readings to make sure that he's making the right call. Sometimes it's just a millimeter separating a bullseye from a 3. And remember, it's always majority of blade. It's a 3.
Tough call there. Widow sweating from just making that call.
This leads me to assume, I'm not sure based on the last time that Cinna tried to put it away, do you think that might dissuade him from trying to go clutch at the end?
It depends on his confidence with his big axe. He's going clutch here, so I guess not. That answers it there. He's not concerned. He's hit his other clutches, and this time it works out.
You got to be bold. You got to be bold.
And we head to round number 4. Cinna with a 2-1 lead. It is best 3 out of 5, so a win here for Cinna and he will move on. All right, pause there, and we're ready to go.
Axes. Here we are.
And that match on the far side is getting ever more exciting and still going in round 3. As our players here, Cinna and Machado, hit double bowls. We've got double clutches happening on the far side with big axe. Double bowls again. As both players are in awe of what's happening on the other side. As they hit their own bullseyes, they're still keeping a close eye on that match on the far side.
You never know who you're going to face later on.
True.
It's really good to have the little bit of intel, a little recon on the people you might end up seeing in the tournament.
As you see some thumbs up and clapping hands from Cinna there as he takes a peek over. Machado staying focused here as he hits his bullseyes, and we're tied at 20 here, 5th and final axe.
Here we go.
Big smiles on both competitors' face. Clutch party taking place. Both players throwing for clutch. Cinna has found his grooves. He's missing that first one as he splits it in half. Machado also hits, and we're going to big axe. Tied at 27 here.
Great performance from these two guys.
And all that while keeping an eye on the other match that's happening beside them and keeping each other informed.
It's easy to get lost in it when you're just facing one person, and you have to remember there's plenty more in the tournament field. This is not the end of the bracket by any stretch of the imagination.
You see some of the different personalities here. A lot of competitors are just focused on throwing their throws, not paying attention to anything happening around them. But these two, a little lighter, having fun, throwing some axes. As they both hit 3, Cinna had a chance to put it away there. So they must still hit their bullseyes before they can go clutch here. As Machado to throw. first axe here. Sorry, his second axe, but he'll be the first thrower. And he throws another 3. So Sinowicki with a bullseye here puts it away. A 3, we go to a third round of Big Axe. And he puts it away, and Sinowicki has eliminated Max Machado.
Wow.
A valiant effort from Machado, but Andrew Sinowicki is moving on in the B bracket. And that ends the day for Max Machado, who gives some hugs and some high fives to the crowd for a job well done.
It was a great performance from Max. Really put it all out there. Loved watching him compete today. Sinowicki, home field advantage, you know?
It's his home court.
It's definitely home court. He is one of the league members here at Battle Pickering. And don't ever discount a little bit of that. I think that in this type of tournament, being able to be familiar with the surroundings and feel comfortable with everybody around you is, it's not to be discounted.
Yeah. And so Max Machado finishes the day tied for 9th place overall, which
he's
is
in
very
the money.
Respectful. Yes, he is in the money. He'll get $350 as we take a look at the brackets to see where we're at so far today. We'll be coming up on your screen there now as we're moving along through the day. LaChance and Robinson are playing on the far side. That was Spenny over there. As you just saw, Sinowicki knocked out Machado.
We also have on the other side, on the left, we have Cappuccino, that's Stefan, facing Mike Kump. And that's a big match. Both are incredibly accurate throwers. Kump is actually kind of a favorite to make it in the tournament final.
And that was the B bracket. As we take a look at the A bracket and who's still moving along here in the A, we're down to the final 4 of the A bracket with Stron Riley, our defending champion,
facing Randor Marquez, Battle Yorkdale thrower, who's actually fairly new, only been at it for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. Threw an 81 in his very first season of league. That's 3 27s in a row. That's 3 more than perfect rounds in a row, which is
start.
Not bad. Not bad for a start. Definitely something to hold on to. Going to see a lot of those in the competition to come.
And we saw our other match there before the graphic slipped away was Stefan Herda, former champion, playing Julio Romero out of Battle Yorkdale as well. As we return here for a match that we will see coming up here between Stron Riley
and Randor.
As we just talked about.
This is really old guard versus new guard. Randor has been really showing up to his competitions during his league. He made a resounding effort to make it in 2018, and single-handedly was an unstoppable force. Stron Riley, of course, the myth, the legend, the man, the winner of last year's NATC, the 2018 NATC. He's the guy to beat. And this is going to be a very interesting match. I'm really curious how it's going to shake out.
He holds court. He holds the Wilson Cup. I don't know if he wants to give it up just yet.
Fair.
Or ever, for that matter. But we'll see how the day plays out. Lots of competition left as we take a look at our screen here, thanking our sponsors yet again. You see their logos posted on our banners above the targets
thank
here.
You, obviously, to Firepower Capital has believed in Battle, in the NATF, and all of us for a long time. Thank you for Bose, keeping us from being thirsty. Cherry Street Barbecue, some of that delicious coleslaw might still be available. Greater Good, fantastic Toronto bar. We've got Fogler Rubinoff. Obviously, a thank you to Gardner Roberts and MNP. Fogler Rubinoff, Gardner Roberts, and MNP, longtime sponsors of the NATC. Pfaff Harley Davidson, great partner, done many events with them. RBC, the Royal Bank of Canada, huge cash sponsor for Red Door Family Shelter. The Doc Ellis, Woodhouse Brewing.
Woodhouse is a big one for us as well, as they sponsor all of the Battle League nights.
Yes, they do.
As well as the National Axe Throwing Federation, so they're very
active in the axe throwing community. It's also worth noting Bose, which is one of our other sponsors, has been a sponsor of axe throwing since the very beginning, since the backyard days. They have really put a lot of their blood, sweat, and tears into helping us grow this sport. and everybody who's involved as a sponsor in the NATC. Just a huge thank you for your continued support.
Providing that prize money for today's event, providing all the food and beverages that we see in the building.
Let's talk about that prize money just a little bit. And obviously, first prize,
$20,000 pool.
$20,000 pool, which is really incredible.
No slouch. As you see, first place taking home $10,000. Second place will walk away with $3,500. Third place will go home with $2,000 today, which is...
That's no chump change.
No, that's good night at the bar.
Absolutely.
As we move into the next page and seeing that even fourth place walks away with $1,000. Fifth and sixth will take home $750. 7 and 8 will go home with $500 each. And 9 through 12, as we just saw, the number 9s finishing off will go home with $350 today. As we are waiting on a match finishing up on the far side between Spenny and LaChance, they are tied 2-2 in round number 5. Currently on the final axe, tied at 20. Clutch hit by Spenny. Clutch hit by LaChance, and we will head to Big Axe to decide the final of this one.
All the noise you were hearing when you were watching Max and Cinna throw was Spenny and LaChance going to Big Axe, hitting Big Axe clutches, and just really showing out for the crowd. We're going to see what they've got right now.
I expect more of the same.
Spenny's up first with a 3.
3 from Spenny.
Bullseye, LaChance will take this, and he'll be moving on.
And there it is. LaChance stays alive. Spenny will also fall into the bracket of tied for 9th place. Ending his day here, but a great day nonetheless. Walking home with $350 today, so
that'll cover my bar tab. I'll know who to ask.
Cover his travel, hopefully. And we see here, where does he?
Who do we got coming up next, Tom?
So we'll be waiting on the Stron Riley and Kouya Randor. Kouya Randor, sorry, pardon me.
Randor Marquez.
And then we got Stefan and Julio Romero. With Stron Riley will get to decide whether he plays on the left or the right-hand side here, as the top seeded player in each set of 4 gets to choose whether you play on the left or right-hand side of an arena. They make that call, and then from there it's rock, paper, scissors to decide if you're throwing on the left or right-hand side of that lane.
A lot of love here from 2 former champions. We've got Stron Riley and Stefan sharing a hug. And here we go. I think we're just trying to round up. There's Randor coming in. There's always a little bit. It's just a little bit of negotiation, I was going to say. Always a little bit of looking at the targets, seeing how the clutches look, seeing how the bullseyes have held up, gauging which side you feel comfortable on. Some people are a little superstitious. They want to start on their preferred side. Some people don't care. A little bit of rock, paper, scissors maybe if there's some negotiation in place, and then we're going to get started.
Yeah, and you as well, like you have to be watching the matches that are going before you. See what the wood's been doing. See how the clutches have been, if they've been soft or hard or whatever, because you can't go in there and start chopping at them with your axe. You have to go based on look, based on what you've seen in previous matches, and just hope for the best.
Yeah, you got to know the field conditions sometimes before you get onto what's going on.
The
great moment.
Competitors share a hug here and a laugh.
I love it.
Before they get started here.
Here we are.
So looks like we'll have
Stron
Riley and Kouya Randor. Let's look at the rankings here. Stron Riley is the 1st overall seed, being last year's defending champion. Kouya is the 4th ranked player coming into today. Julio Romero is the 3rd ranked, so we have 1, 3, and 4 still alive.
Wow.
And Stefan is the 26th, but a former champion.
Right, he knows what it takes. The guy can really keep it together psychologically through the last few rounds, and that is such a big part of this game. is a little bit of the mental aspect.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of mental gamesmanship about pushing the pace of how fast you're throwing, slowing things down in case you need a breather, even alternating between paces in order to keep your opponent on their toes. You'll get to see it a little bit, and we'll try to point it out when we see it in these matches. I know that Randor tends to push the pace. Stron is a thrower who definitely likes to take his time. They're squaring off right now.
Squaring off for the rock, paper, scissors. It is best 2 out of 3. They're deciding how they will shoot. Oh, and Randor takes it, so he gets to pick left or right and decides to have a look.
Like I said, he's taking a look at the playing field. He's seeing what the targets look like. I'm assuming he'll go right. Oh no, he's sticking left.
Switching sides, so he'll come over to the left-hand side. So Kouya Randor is wearing the white t-shirt. He has chosen the left-hand side. And our defending champion, Stron Riley, the #1 seed coming into the day of 192 people, will be on your right.
Lots of love between these two competitors.
No strangers. I'm sure they've played each other for fun more than once. As they start off with double bowls.
Randor does have a bit of that interesting release.
Starts partway up his axe. Almost halfway up his axe with his hold, and just a very gentle little.
It's what's referred to as the Canadian pinch.
Right, Canadian pinch.
Something that has been refined a little bit, was popularized when Stron won last year. A little bit of a 3-finger hold.
And it works for him quite well.
Absolutely. Basically what it does is it provides you control over the axe without interference from a couple other fingers. Gives you a little bit of finesse. The downfall can sometimes, the bonus is sometimes accuracy. The downfall can often be power on new boards, right? New boards are naturally a little bit of a harder stick. You've got to watch yourself and make sure that your motion is perfect every time. If you're a perfectionist, it's great.
Which a lot of these players are, so.
I know it's something coming from Stron. He's a player that has taped himself throwing so many times. He watches film on himself to make sure that, he's always staying up on his mechanics. Here we go, big axe. You've got 2 players went 27. In a heartbeat went 27.
As we head to big axe here in round #1, tied at 27. Stron to throw first. And he goes bullseye.
Bullseye. Just remember that big axe is sudden death, which means Randor needs to hit a bullseye.
Just to continue. And it's close.
It is close. It's going to need a device.
They're going to have a look. If these two competitors can decide, and they
Stron
do, they
gives it to
agree.
him.
They agree, so clutches are now live. Both players, as Ian just stated, have to hit their bullseyes first. Once that has been accomplished by both competitors, then they can call for clutch, but only in the big axe. Is that a factor? And Stron, right down the middle.
That's about as perfect as you can get. A little 27-12 right there. You've got 27 with a regular axe. You've got 12 points off the bat with your big axe. You can't get better than that in competition.
Nope. At least not yet, anyway.
Not yet, anyway.
As Randor has to adjust his footing here. We go through the lines here in a little bit just to give you a gauge of what's happening there. As Randor is low and outside. So you've got the 3 lines. We have the red line at the front there. You have the black line in the middle and the blue line at the back. The red line with the standard hatchet is the fault line for the standard hatchet.
You can step on it, but you can't pass it.
And the black line, you must start your throw with the standard hatchet with 1 foot behind the line.
At least 1 foot, yes, all the way behind the line.
Before you start your throwing motion, and then you have to wait until both axes have gone forward, landed, or fallen on the floor, whatever the case may be. With these two, it's bullseyes. But both players have to make that conscious pause before crossing that red line.
So
and then everything gets, sorry, Ian, just to finish off here, everything gets shifted back a line as we move into Big Axe. So the blue line becomes the black line.
Right now, Randor might have a 3 here. They're going to device it.
This is going to be tough as Whittle comes out to measure. And the black line for Big Axe becomes the fault line. As Whittle's out to measure this one, we're on axe number 2 here, round number 2. Stron, in super perfect fashion, took round number 1. Is there anything better than super perfect? Because he went ultra perfect there.
Ultra perfect right there?
Big axe perfection, as you mentioned. Oh, that one's low.
That one's definitely
wide
a 3.
To the left side, and the 3 points, giving Stron a 2-point lead here.
This is where it's tough because, in all honesty, hitting a 3 early on in your 5-throw round can sometimes just be demoralizing against somebody in the top end of the competition. You know they're going to go for 27. You know they're going to go for that clutch at the end to close it out. You don't even have a chance to try to get yourself back in the competition.
You just got to, this is where the mental side of the game comes in, just the mental strength and ability to just move on, throw to throw. This round might be done because Stron hits a clutch. Now you just got to shake that off and move on to the next one. As Julio and Stefan are in one on the far side. Julio leading 2-0, and both players have gone super perfect on that side as well. But we stay focused here on Kouya Randor and Stron Riley. Kouya currently sitting on the left side.
Taking a little water break.
As we take a look at the scores here.
Two 27s for Stron. Let's see if he can make this a sweep. I have a feeling that Randor is going to start to bring the heat here. It's hard against somebody like Stron. You know, you got to beat a robot. He's an axe throwing robot.
And you've seen it so far in this one, well, through the whole day and through the fact that he's the champion from last year. Like, it's just, the consistency is just through the roof.
Absolutely.
As we're tied again, for both players really though, like Kouya's missed one throw, but it's cost him because Stron went for his clutch and got it. And he didn't get to throw that final throw in the second round.
Like overtime in a football game, if the first quarterback gets it and scores a touchdown, it's over. You know?
We saw that this year with the Pats and the Chiefs. Like
going upstairs for clutches. Stron hits. Randor hits, and they're going to Big Axe.
Headed to Big Axe, tied at 27. Stron with a win here will take a 3-0 lead and will take the match, as it is best 3 out of 5 still. But a bullseye from Randor puts on the pressure, so Stron has to at least hit a 5 here to continue. Anything less, Randor stays alive in the match. And a bullseye, and we continue on. So now clutches can be called by either player here. As Randor sets himself up.
They're going upstairs.
Clutches have been called. Big Axe clutch party. Here we go. And he gets it. So Stron will have to match here to keep the round going.
Two very different grips on these big axes. Randor doing a side, thumb to the side, basically, emulating a one-handed throw.
And Stron is there with a yell.
Stron doing more hand over hand, which is a bit more of a traditional throw.
Yeah, you generally see that kind of baseball bat style for the big axe. But yes, Randor holding it more like you would if you were throwing two-handed with the standard hatchet.
This is the window. If Stron hits this clutch,
he moves on.
He does move on.
To the final, the A final. And he gets it!
Wow.
Big axe clutch, and we're going to take it down to Matt Red Moreland for an interview here momentarily, but what a moment there as Stron gives a shake to the crowd. And here's Matt and Stron now to relive that moment.
Okay, I'm here with Stron Riley. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling all right, man. I'm feeling all right. We still got lots to go. We got a lot of games to go, so gotta keep it rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, how's the night been for you so far? Like, what are you feeling about how you've done so far, how the competition's been, where are you at?
I'm good, man. Love the atmosphere, honestly. If the camera would pan back there, see all these people here, it's pretty crazy. Take a peek at that shirt right there. Come on now.
Okay, back to you, Tom.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt. Great interview there. As you see the T-shirts that have been floating around the crowd, there you can see several. As I'm joined now by Matt Wilson, the commissioner of the National Axe Throwing Federation. Welcome, Matt.
Hey,
Good to have you aboard.
Thanks, buddy. This is wild, man.
Oh.
This is wild. I just finally had a second to
breathe,
to soak it up as I was standing by to come and join you, and I was just like looking over this crowd, like this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
As you take a look here as well, like you can see the row of just Stron Riley fan club here.
Yeah, Stron Riley just took that win. That's what I just came into, right?
Yep. You
Big
just walked
match.
in. Big axe clutch to take it from Randor. So Randor stays alive, though. He does get bumped down to the B bracket.
Okay, so did Stron take it in the Big Axe clutch?
Yep.
Okay,
Stron
so
took it with the Big Axe
Randor's in the
clutch,
B
which is,
bracket now.
if we recall, that's how he won the championship last year with the Big Axe clutch.
Big moves. And now the whole game has changed, because now if you don't have a solid Big Axe clutch game, you're not going very far in this tournament.
Well, and we just saw Stron do it twice. He threw, as Ian, Bobby, and I were calling it ultra perfect, because he went perfect through the, super perfect through the small, hitting his 4 bowls in a clutch, and then went bowl and clutch to finish off with the Big Axe.
And for anybody watching, the super perfect, what we mean by that is a perfect match back in the day before we had the clutch was 5 bullseyes in a row, equaling 25. Then we added the clutch worth 7 to sort of create that Hail Mary moment to get back in the game, which was much less commonly successful back then.
Yeah.
And we had what we call now like the supernatural perfect game, or the supernatural perfect match, which is when you score some 27s where you go 4 bullseyes and a clutch. And that over the last 2 years has been incredibly popularized. Everybody's hitting that supernatural perfect match of 81, which is the highest you can do. 4 bullseyes clutch, 4 bullseyes clutch, 4 bullseyes clutch.
Well, and when did we get the first 81 that was ever thrown was back in 2015 or so.
I want to say 2014, maybe.
2014, yeah.
It was John Matthews. It was 2014, 2015, around that time, I believe, when we were in the Sterling Road location in Toronto West, which was our first indoor location for battle. And yeah, it was about a year before anyone hit another one. He did broke that. Hit that milestone, and then it took a while for anyone else to do it. And you know, Stefan was shortly after him, and a handful of others. But really, the last 2 years, since the first NATC, is really when everyone saw the level of competition, and everyone just went back to their home venue and went, all right, let's raise the game. Like, this is it.
And now you see competitors like, I know Big Will mentioned, and we looked at his stats yesterday. He may join us here later on, but he's got over 140 of the 80 super perfects now.
81s, he has over 140?
Over 140.
Oh my goodness.
That's
crazy.
insane.
And not only you on the live stream can't see right now, but Stefan and Julio are having a huge match.
With that one there.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So
Great.
looking at the score here, just to get you caught up here, it's 2-1 for Julio Romero. They are in round number 4. Both players have hit their Big Axe bullseyes, and both players have hit a Big Axe clutch. Julio with a chance to win it here, as Stefan just missed his Big Axe clutch.
Oh, he missed.
It's close.
Just to the left.
Wide.
All right, Stefan's pretty fired up. He's got another chance here. That one stings.
Alive.
That one stings.
That's tough for Julio. He's put me out a couple years ago with one of those. So
yeah.
He's good at it, and he knows what he's doing when he throws that Big Axe, but tough one there.
I've never played Julio. I'm not at that caliber, and I'm okay to admit that.
It's okay. Well, hey,
I'm not good enough to play.
I wasn't there
tournament.
this year either. It's all right.
We can just shake hands and be okay with that.
Yeah, we're good with that.
We're not good enough throwers to be in this tournament. That's why we're doing commentary.
That's right.
Big Will be the only one in the commentary booth. Well, Big Will and Redbeard both threw really well today in the tournament. They're both some of the best throwers out there as well. Big Will went real deep in the tournament, so we'll get his insights on it later.
I believe he finished tied for 13th at the end of the day.
That's
so
amazing.
Just outside the money realm, but
it's amazing.
That's all right too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As Stefan hits his Big Axe clutch again here. Julio to match and stay alive.
And Stefan is fired up. Let's see what Julio can do here.
And he gets it. Makes the correction necessary.
And the crowd is losing their mind right now.
There's usually a chance of Julio to follow when he hits those, but the crowd being respectful.
The chance of Julio on the last one was because Stefan had missed,
That's true.
missed his, so he had that chance to win it. He was just staying alive on that one.
Yeah. Now he does have a 2-1 lead, so a loss here isn't the end of the match for him. He'll still have round 5 if it comes to that, but he has a chance to put it away. But Stefan not making it easy here as he aims to force round number 5. And Julio, no pressure. This is too much.
Man, the best throwing always at these tournaments, man. The NATC every year blows my mind. Not just in the attendance and the participation level and the community aspect, but like the competition just shoots through the roof every year we do this, man.
For sure.
I don't even know what's going to happen when people go home from this tournament and start, that same slant of the like angled rise of competition goes up. We're going to have to see how the next year goes. It's going to be wild.
You see it, even from, we were talking with Ian earlier, just how people have adapted and changed their throws based on what they see at this tournament each year.
Julio got it again. I think
that's 3 in a row.
3 big axe clutches in a row.
And 4 of 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 for big axe clutches. This is ridiculous. Amazing.
But
amazing stuff.
Just from year to year, you see the success of people and how they throw, and then the next wave of people that have adjusted.
Okay, there's the miss.
There. Adjusted their throw to emulate the winner.
Julio's got a chance to put this away.
And the crowd chants.
Stefan being the most decorated at these tournaments. He's won several.
And he hits the same spot. Stefan is fired up as he stays alive.
As you see Julio gesturing at the target going, how was I so far away?
Great moment there.
And these two have played each other a ton of times. They've been at the top of the pack for a long time in the battle community. And so they're having a blast with this matchup, bringing the best out of both of them. Right on.
They share a kiss there just before they move along. Great moment there between two competitors as they get ready to go here.
All right.
I believe they're both throwing in that Mad Monday League that's going on at Villiers this season.
That's right. One of the most competitive out there. He gets it.
There it is.
Oh, man.
Now going 6 of 8 in Big Axe Clutch for Stefan Herda. And Julio matches. And we continue. Tongues out, they're ready to go.
It always takes it to the next
What
level.
and
as we see, Mike Kump, another one of the favorites coming into the tournament, just standing in front of the commentary booth here. He just looked back. Him and Redwood both just looked back to us, and they're just jaws are dropped, minds are blown. They can't believe what's going on.
Just when you think it's done, they separate up and no pressure at all. They move forward.
This is wild.
This is great. As they share a drink. And away they go. Stefan to throw first. Ooh, it's tight, but it looks low from here. Stefan having a look, getting up to have a view. They'll call for an official. Jonathan League out to have a look.
Okay.
Whether it's touching or not, this is going to be tight.
Avery might be
there
in there.
Comes.
No, it's no good. It's no
Jonathan
good.
says no. No need.
Here we go.
For the referee here is Julio. Julio gets it, and Julio is moving on to the A final to face Stron Riley.
This place is losing it.
What a moment. What a match. What a final round that was.
Now that was still A bracket, right?
That was still A bracket. So that sets the A final between Stron Riley and Julio Romero.
That's the A bracket final?
That's the A bracket final. So now we wait for the B.
Okay.
And
what a great match. I think we have Redbeard standing by to talk. Redbeard and or Big Will standing by to talk to the winner. What a match.
Oh, we're coming back.
What a match. That was incredible.
We'll go down for an interview there in a moment. But yeah, what more can you ask for?
That was insane. And there was that like 8 out of 9 big axe clutches or something like that for Julio. Was that how many they ended up at? That was nuts.
I lost count. There was too many to count. It just kept going.
I feel like that's a record, though. Like that's definitely a record for big axe clutches in a single match.
In a single match, to keep rolling. We'll find that out.
And of course, the first couple of times when one missed, the other missed, and then they both dialed back in. That was pretty wild. Both of them super fired up.
That was almost the craziest part of it all. Is that like you get them just matching one, and then one misses and the other does, rather than closing it out and finishing it off. Like you just,
absolutely.
And hitting almost the same spot on the target.
Yeah, that one when Stefan missed first and Julio hit the next one, almost in the same miss
spot.
Yeah,
but great match nonetheless. And Stefan's still alive. We could see him yet as he moves off to the B bracket.
Okay.
So we've got Stron Riley's solo stats here coming up. Let's pop them up on the screen there. So you can see he's had high scores of 81. His average score is 73.7. He has 588 career wins.
You can see his call rate there. The clutch call rate is how many times he chooses to call clutch when he can. So he's going for it 75% of the time, and he's got an 81% accuracy, as well as a 90% accuracy on his bullseye. So Stron's career stats are nothing short of astonishing. The guy's an animal. The last 2 years, he has been right up there at the top of the pack, maybe, and definitely last year. And we got Julio's stats coming up here in a moment. We'll take a look and see how they compare. Both of them obviously having hit high scores of 81. Averages, both of them over 70 for their average. And similar call rate, but you can see Julio not quite having the same success rate with his clutches as Stron is. And we're going to go down to Big Will for a post-match interview after that.
That'll be at the end of this match between Comp and who do we have here?
Is that Randor?
Kouya Randor.
We got Comp and Randor getting set up.
This will be back to our B bracket.
Right.
So we have, taking a look here, Comp and Randor. And Stefan Herta and LaChance will play on the far side.
Right. Still right. Stefan's got to go again right away.
Yep. No, it's right back to it. That's the thing with the A and the B. You get right back into it, and B, you're just going from here on out.
Yeah. And at this point in the tournament, too, there's not many competitors left. So once you get knocked out of A, you're going down here. So after these two face off, okay, let's take a look at the B bracket here. Bringing it up. As you can see, we've got the A bracket on the left, it looks like. Nope. Oh, no, sorry. This is all B bracket.
Yep,
this is our so we got Stefan, Herta, and LaChance.
Yep. So we'll have it. What do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4 matches left from the B, and then we'll have a final match for the A bracket, and then the championship final after that. So the A bracket, whoever wins between Stron Riley and Julio Romero, they'll get a bit of a break after that match as they wait for that B champion to come out, and then they will.
And then the loser of Romero and Stron Riley will face off with the B bracket champion because, again, they have to lose twice to be out of there.
Yeah.
And then the winner of that will come back up to face whoever's undefeated in the A. And then that final matchup, the person in the A bracket does have to get beat in 2 full sets.
Perfect.
And here we go. We're kicking off.
So we got Kump, and we've got Kouya Randor. Kouya is on your right, or pardon me, your left, and Kump is on the right. Double bullseyes to start.
Kump in the burgundy hoodie and Randor in the battle tee in the white.
Go to axe number 2. Tied at 10 after 2 axes. Double bulls again.
And at this stage of the game, you know, it's so hard to be so consistent with these bullseyes, especially when they're switching on that 5th throw into the clutch position, throwing in a different spot, and then resetting and coming back to those bullseyes. These guys make it look easy, but it is a definite feat. Yeah, to be this consistent. Everyone that's competing at this point in the tournament are masters of this sport.
So we have Kump is the 104th seed coming into today. Kouya Randor was 4th overall coming into today.
Randor was 4th overall.
Randor was 4th overall coming in.
I knew Randor was having a great year. I didn't realize he finished 4th. That's incredible.
Now, Kump won one of the earlier tournaments this year for the NATF.
That's right.
So he's no slouch either. So his 104th, again, as I talked about with Ian Bobby earlier, for those watching, is an example of someone that is ranked probably a little lower than their actual skill level goes, just based on how they finished in their home league.
Right, and the home league does have a factor for sure, play a factor into things, because you could be in an incredibly competitive league, and the top 4 from that league grouping are the ones that qualify based on champions points. So Kump may not have been able to sweep all of his leagues if he's playing in a very competitive league, which may not end him with the most champions points, but he still ends up qualifying, and so those ranks can be a little bit deceiving.
Yeah, for sure. As Kump coming to us here today from Urban Axes in Philly, I believe, yes?
That's right. I think Kump has thrown all around the New Jersey and Philly area, if I'm not mistaken, but I do believe that Urban Axes in Philly is his home league.
This is home league. Yeah.
And he did win that tournament at Chopper's Hatchet House back in October, which was the Choptoberfest, the Choptober Challenge on Halloween. And that was the first NATF sanctioned tournament that had an American champion, which is super exciting.
For the sport, right?
Great for the sport, yeah. And Kump and some of the other competitors actually put together an event tied into this weekend that was Canada versus U.S. where they got a handful of the best from Canada and U.S. and had a great head-to-head as a prelim, I guess.
Pre-tournament.
Yeah.
Of skill events, really, because they were doing some different throws that you're not seeing today. They were doing some of the double rotations and things that, and various other skill games that you don't see at a tournament like this, but just to get kind of warmed up and have a bit of fun and get that camaraderie going.
Yep. It was a great time and a great warm-up for the event here today.
So Kouya took round number 1 in Big Axe, hitting his bullseye. Kump missed with a 3. So Kouya leads 1-0 here.
And that was with the Big Axe, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was with Big Axe in overtime, as both players went 27 each in the first round. So to force that Big Axe.
And just for everyone who's watching who may not know all of the ins and outs of the match format, any round where they tie their 5 throws with the hatchet, they have to have a tiebreaker with the Big Axe, and it's for points, and they have to hit a bullseye before they can call a clutch. But they settled it with the bullseye and a 3 before it got to that point.
And Randor takes a 2-0 lead here in this, a best 4 out of 7. It is a best 4 out of 7. Randor leading 2-0 as he hits his clutch, and Kump misses just wide.
That's right.
To the right-hand side.
And yeah, we are in 4 out of 7. So this is where we really start having some marathons of matches.
Yeah. We look to the far side as well. LaChance has a 1-0 lead on Stefan as they're heading into round number 2 now. It looks like they went to Big Axe also. As both players here, Kouya and Kump, are tied at 5 in round number 3. Now tied at 10. Double bulls again, and we're tied at 15.
Okay. This is interesting. I think Kump stays pretty focused in this game, so I don't see him getting flustered down 2 games. But you pretty well have to be perfect at this
Plenty
point.
of time. Like you see it. We saw it earlier. Like both players go perfect, and you have one that sweeps the match. But like in this situation, anybody can win. You got 4 to get to it. Being down 2, being down 3 isn't a big deal. You just got to focus on the next round and get through to it.
And you'll hear that as a mantra with a lot of the top competitors is they don't think about, try to just focus on the next acts. Just worry about that next bullseye or that next clutch and don't think too much about falling behind or not. 'Cause it can change pretty quick.
Stay out of your own head and stay focused, and away you go.
As Kump was just talking to his Big Axe, just letting it know that it's time.
Like Marc-Andre Fleury to his goalpost.
That's right. That's it. That's it.
And he whispers the right sweet nothings to his axe.
Whatever he said, it worked.
He gets it.
That bullseye gets Kump around.
And there we go. 2-1 now.
Just like that, it's a
Kouya
different match.
Randor. Yeah. Right back into it. We head to round number 4. 2-1.
Yeah.
For Kouya Randor. Kouya will be on the right-hand side. Kump on the right. On the left, sorry. Left and right. There we go.
The Kouya and the Kump is getting to you.
Yeah. Too many Ks.
Remember, Randor in the white shirt.
Randor and Kump.
Kump in the burgundy.
And there we go. Double bowls from both. We go to the second act. Round number 4 now.
And you can see these two are having a little back and forth between rounds there. They're both clearly having a great time.
We've seen that quite a bit between the competitors so far. You saw it between Stefan and Julio in the last match that we just watched. You're seeing it here between these two. Just good friendships. Both wanting each other to do well, but both obviously wanting to win at the same time.
Yeah, it's a tough balance.
Yeah.
Can't have both.
No.
And here we go. So they're tied up after 4 bullseyes in this round.
Tied at 20.
They're definitely both going clutch.
Clutch is hit by both, and we're going right back to Big Axe, tied at 27.
No surprise there. I expect most of these rounds to go to Big Axe.
So far, we've had Kump miss 1 clutch, and that was it. And he's down 2-1.
Otherwise, yeah, all 27s,
good.
Big Axe has been the decider. There we go. We got some water dropped
Thank you.
off. Thanks. All right. So
Kouya.
bullseye from Kump for this first Big Axe, which is great. That means.
And Randor is
Okay.
high.
Look at that, just
So-
like that.
Tied at 2.
2 games apiece.
Round number 5 of this best 4 out of 7.
And on the other side, you can see LaChance actually just hit himself a clutch with his Big Axe as well.
They
We
are
gotta-
still in round number 2
Oh, wow.
at the moment.
So they're having a great match over there, too. Man, I'm loving this crowd. This is awesome.
This is huge. Like they're
up,
packed in
guy?
like sardines in here.
I'm just randomly pointing and waving to people in the
Whoever
crowd.
you like, yeah. Getting
This is
some odd looks.
It's a great view.
It's not bad. Right above the action here
Yep.
at Battle Pickering
Yep.
on the Orange Arena.
And I don't know if you saw that exchange there, but you saw Kump look over at Randor's bullseye that was between 2-point values, and Kump giving the thumbs up to say, "Yep, I agree. That throw is good. That bullseye is good."
That's the great thing about this sport is that it is semi-self-refereed. You can turn to your opponent as long as you both agree on that point value, then we move forward. You don't have to call for the device or anything that way, but if you need, the device is there and you bring it out.
Yep. And these guys have thrown so much. They know what a majority in bullseye looks like, but they'll still call for that device every once in a while.
Sure.
Sometimes it can be a bit of a mental move as well.
Yeah.
Slow the pace down if somebody's picking their pace up too much or getting too hot.
And
there we
double
go.
clutches again, and we head right back to Big Axe.
Amazing.
Both players have been super perfect through this match.
Except for that one missed clutch in round number 2 by Kump. Everything else 27s, and then a Big Axe has been the decider. At this point, you really need to have a solid Big Axe game to be able to compete at the highest level. And we see a 3 there from Randor, and that could cost him dearly here. We'll see what happens.
Kump with the chance to put it away here.
His Big Axe game has been on point. He's won a couple with that bullseye already.
And he does right down the middle as he looks around the crowd.
Money. That was money. Can't argue with that. No device.
Nope,
Not
no
happening.
device needed on that one. I think he might have been able to paint the circle with that one and put it through the screw hole. Right down the middle. And now has a 3-2 lead and a chance to close this one out and move along in the B bracket.
Yeah. That's as I expected from Kump, though. I mean, they're all very focused. Oh, my mom just showed up. Hi. She's too tiny to be seeing over people in the crowd over there, but she'll figure it out. That's awesome. It's great to see them here. But as I said early on in this match, when Kump was down by 2, you know, I don't expect any of these competitors at this level to get flustered by being down a round or 2. And here we are, back to 3-2 in favor of Kump now.
And still anyone's match as we're tied at 10 here, third axe of round number 6.
If Kump wins this round, that will be the match. And this is the B bracket.
This is the B bracket, so
whoever
Kouya
loses
will be
here,
finished.
That's right.
Now, it won't all be sad. He will walk away with a bit of the prize money from today, a bit of that $20,000 pot.
That's right. We're all in the money at this point. Everybody's walking home with something at this
Everybody's
point.
walking home with something.
Which is great.
Thanks to our wonderful sponsors, as you see them up on the banners above the targets there.
We'll be making sure to share those sponsor names with you later on in the program as well.
And
right on.
like clockwork, we're headed back to Big Axe, tied at 27.
Yeah, we absolutely wouldn't be here without all of the amazing sponsors that get involved. You know, at the top, from the people that are here right now, Bait Shop doing screen printing T-shirts for everyone.
That's right, they are set
Cherry
up.
Street Barbecue feeding everybody. Bose, Woodhouse, Neutral, Pelliter Wines, all supplying some of the libations for the spectators and some for the competitors as well. It's just a great day. And they really make it possible. So here we go. Let's see what Kump can do with his first Big Axe.
So a win here for Kump. Oh, it's a
and
three. So Kouya can stay alive and force round 7 here with a bullseye.
That's spicy. It's a spicy move.
Where's Pascal Siakam when you need him?
I know, right? Spicy Pete.
And he does. We're going to round 7. And just like Kump the round before, Kouya goes right through the screw hole in the middle of the bullseye.
And we call this the rubber match. When it comes down to the final round of the match, and that's the deciding round, we call that the rubber match. Whoever wins this one is going to take it. And this is as expected. What a great showdown.
Now we're headed into round 7 here on our side. On the far side, they are in Big Axe and still in round 3.
Man, they have been going at Big Axe for ages on every round over there. Where we've been settling in these rounds with usually with the bullseye Big Axe, as opposed to
they haven't had to go clutch just yet with these two.
Yep.
But we start off with double bulls here, as I expect us to head back to Big Axe here in round 7. But we will see how these final 4 throws pan out, and they start double bulls into the final 3.
And that is a minor rule change that happened in 2018 in regards to Big Axe. After last year's tournament, where Stefan won the final 2 rounds with his Big Axe clutch, we saw a whole lot of Big Axe clutch happening in league, and so we modified a rule a little bit to do that, so that the first throw of Big Axe, you have to hit a bullseye in order to go for that clutch. You sort of have to unlock the clutch before you go for it. So
that's right.
It's been really cool to see that dynamic of that new rule.
And here comes our final clutch party of this round, tied at 20. And we're going back to Big Axe. We think the tops might be out.
Shrugging with his hands up.
Kouya says yes.
Yeah, Randor shakes his head. He's like shaking his head going, it's good. I really wish it wasn't, but it's good.
Both were close there. They both kind of had that top tilt out. But regardless, we go to Big Axe for round 7. And Kouya right down the middle. So Kump with a bullseye. We continue. Anything less, and Kouya moves on.
Cool.
And he's right down the middle. And they are excited because they finally unlocked the clutch that you were just speaking of, Matt.
Yeah, there we go.
And there we go. And we're set and ready to go. Kouya to throw first. Clutches have been called as Matt Widow, scoring the match, is having a laugh with the competitors.
I think they've both been a little frustrated with not hitting those bullseyes right away. And they both lost a round or 2 hitting that 3 with that Big Axe. So it's nice to be in the clutch game.
Ooh, just low.
Kump has the opportunity.
Clutch. Kump has shown a little bit of his personality here. Very animated at times.
Yeah, Kump's great. If you get a chance, check out his photos when he wins tournaments in league and stuff. He's always got the best pose in front of the target. There's no doubt.
Well,
we're gonna need an award for that soon.
best championship pose. Oh, and he's wide of the left side clutch.
Randor wasn't even looking, but he could tell from the crowd it's not over. He grabs his axe to get set up.
And here he goes. Oh, he's asking the crowd what he should do. He wants some feedback. They're not giving him any, though.
I think everybody's just assuming you go for clutch.
Yeah. That's what's next, isn't it? Oh, but he misses that right side again.
No dice.
Clutch call
Sorry,
by
I keep
Kump.
getting in your way there, Tom, because I can't help leaning
No,
forward
you're
and getting
good.
my,
You're perfect.
getting my view.
This perch that we're in up here is just perfect. I can see past you. I can see.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay real professional in my comment, but I can't help it. The excitement's too much.
Right?
I'm just like,
You just want to look in.
I want to climb over the wall.
And here we are. And he does it. Comes from behind after falling down 2-0 early in this one. Claws his way back to take it in 7 rounds with a big axe clutch as the USA chants roll through the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a throw there as Kump moves on.
And we got Big Will down on the floor. He's going to talk to both of the competitors after that amazing match.
And he's tearing it down to Big Will.
All right, we have Randor here. Amazing performance today. I'm kind of curious to know why you were calling out for Julio there when you're going to that clutch.
He's basically like my mentor, so every time I ask him for advice, he's usually there for me. So.
Well, you did an amazing performance today. Be proud of yourself. We're all proud of you. Excellent job. We got Mr. Kump here, down too early.
Yeah.
Come back to fight your way through that. What were you thinking? What was your strategy today?
So strategy today, not have any idea what's happening at any point in the match. If somebody says the last axe, I go clutch. If it's not, I go bull. And just see what happens.
Well, again, amazing performance. The way to stay in that, fight your way back from 2 down. Excellent job. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Big Will. What a great moment that was, and what a great answer to that question you had for Kump. You can see his personality coming out in that answer. As I'm joined now by Matt Red Moreland. Red,
Good to see you.
great to
buddy.
have you out.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us here. What are your thoughts on the afternoon so far?
I mean, for the Americans, Kump is a huge favorite right now, so him still being in the tournament is huge. I saw him at Shoptober, and he's I don't know if people know this, but he is the first American that has ever.
With the crowd this
Of
big.
course, yeah. So he was the first American champ for a major tournament, and seeing him here still staying in the tournament is super exciting. I know all the Americans here are very excited about that.
Well,
so.
you heard it after the win, the chance of USA rolling through the crowd.
And that's a consistent thing. I don't know if we have a Canadian equivalent for the USA chant, but I mean, I know
It doesn't
we've got
roll
three.
off the tongue
It
quite as
doesn't
well,
quite,
but
no.
it's still that chant of Canada
Yeah.
is great. As
So-
we take a look here at the B bracket just down below,
Yeah, of course.
well, on your screen, folks, but down below for us, and who is left, as we're still watching on the far side, Stefan Herta and LaChance, as they are currently sitting in round number 6, but Kump moves on to the B semifinal, as it would be called, and he will face the winner of this match between Stefan Herta and LaChance.
So, I believe Stefan Herta and LaChance is a B bracket match.
Yeah, well,
now.
no, all of these are B bracket at this point. So a loss there.
Oh,
as
he would face the champ.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah, for sure. They move on to face the next round.
So,
but as we take a look and thank our sponsors here this afternoon, we're going to take a look at the prize money here. It's a $20,000 pool, as mentioned earlier, but first place of today's tournament will take home $10,000, half of that $20,000 pot. Second place will walk away with $3,500. Third place, no chump change, $2,000 going home in their pockets as we move on to the next set. And that's where we're headed now. Fourth place gets $1,000. Fifth and sixth will walk away with $750. 7 and 8 will take home $500 each, and 9 through 12 walk away with $350. We are down into the final 6 at this point, so from here on out, you're walking away with at least $750.
that is a crazy thing to think about. So, I mean, watching this B bracket match right now. So we're gonna
roll our sponsors here, but you're gonna see the video of this other B match between LaChance and Stefan. But we're just gonna let our sponsors roll. And again, thank you to all of our sponsors as they come up on the screen here. Without them, we wouldn't be here today. But we thank them greatly for all their support.
Speaking to this B bracket match though, between LaChance and Stefan,
Yep.
that for me watching this is a pretty amazing thing to watch, because our Monday night league in Toronto, they're both in the same league on Monday night.
Oh, that's right as well.
So these are two guys that we get to see week after week throwing together and hanging out, having a good time. So to see them both this far in the tournament throwing against each other is a pretty amazing thing, knowing that you know, even if you lose, your friend still wins. So this is a big chance for LaChance here.
They are currently in round number 7. It is tied 3-3. LaChance
And there
takes
it
it.
is.
LaChance has knocked out Stefan Herta. Stefan, took the risk of throwing clutch on that final axe. He was up by 2. He took the chance of going for clutch, which he's hit all day. He missed just slightly down to the side, leaving it open for LaChance. All he needed was a 3 or better. He hits his bullseye, and LaChance moves on.
This is a crazy, crazy accomplishment for LaChance right now because, I mean, everyone else in the tournament right now are huge names in axe throwing. They're people that are showing up top 3, top 5 in all of our major tournament circuits. But LaChance is a very, very, very good thrower, but he is not somebody that's going on the tournament circuit. He's not out here making a name for himself, especially all these people coming from so far away. I'm sure not a whole lot of people know this guy. I'm really, really happy to see him this far in the tournament, and his throwing today has just been lights out.
Oh, it's been great, as you just saw in that one, like taking Stefan, a former champion, to 7 games and then knocking him out of the tournament now.
Yeah.
Stefan and Kouya Randor finished tied for 5th place at this point, so they will walk away with some of that prize money that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And I mean, again, so speaking about that league again, Randor, LaChance, Stefan are all in the same league. So I want to maybe address the fact that the quality of leagues kind of breed the quality of players.
Yep.
And I find that across the whole NATF is in some of the newer venues, maybe your best person has a 60 average, which is a very, very good score, right? But if you're constantly trying to beat somebody who's got a 60 average, that's kind of what you're shooting for, right? With the case of these guys, they're all throwing perfect matches night after night after night, and since they're all playing other people that are all throwing perfect matches consistently, that's kind of where you get a place where you're breeding this incredible talent where, you know, 3 out of the top 6 are all in the same Monday Night League in Toronto, so that's huge.
And we spoke to that earlier. Some of the rankings are skewed because of stuff like that. So you get a Kump that is 106. You get a Stefan Herta, who's a former champion, that's ranked 26.
Right.
And just varying differences, but all very strong players.
Yeah.
As we get ready here for the championship of A bracket. This is the A bracket championship. The winner of this will move on to the championship final. This is between Julio Romero and the defending champion, Stron Riley. Stron Riley, as they finish up the rock, paper, scissors to choose the sides. Stron will be on the left, it looks like, and Julio Romero will be on the right.
Just to speak to stats for a second here, Stron Riley was kind of somebody that really changed the axe throwing game. So on axescores.com, if you guys look up the website, you can check out the kind of stats and records that we have on that website. And at the beginning of this year, I believe almost every single one of those records was set by Stron Riley.
Yeah.
This guy really changed the face of axe throwing. But almost every single person you're seeing in these final matches are people that have either taken those records away from him or are people that are in the middle of beating them in their current season that they're playing right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So
and that is something we haven't mentioned today. If you do want to check out all the stats and scores from today's event or from leagues across the National Axe Throwing Federation, visit axescores.com. That's axe with an E, scores.com for all of the details and all of the stats that you can see and that is being mentioned by Red here. As we're wrapping up round number 1, tied at 20, double clutch is called. Julio looks like he's low. Stron is good.
Good on both.
And agreed upon by Julio. And Stron takes a 1-0 lead here in the A final. And they will hold for a brief second. And we will head to round number 2. Stron Riley takes a 1-0 lead. Now it is a best 4 out of 7 here, so
this is a long haul.
It is. As we just saw, we had Kump down 2-0, and he worked his way back, clawed his way back into round 7, and ultimately took it and moved on to the B.
I mean, speaking to Kump again for a moment, I think clawing his way back is one way to look at it. But I mean, I don't know if you spoke about this before, but he started throwing in March of this year.
Right. Yep.
So to him, even being here at all is an amazing feat. But he has been dominating all day, just consistent. And I don't think anyone is amazed that he's made it this far. But I think we're all really, really excited to see where he's going to go as the rookie amongst the group.
So as we continue here in round number 2 between Julio and Stron, Julio is on the left-hand side. I'll get my left and rights figured out here at some point, ladies and gentlemen. But Julio is on the left, Stron is on your right, and we're heading to the final acts tied at 20 yet again. Double clutch is called. Julio trying to recalibrate and find that clutch that he missed in round 1. Stron hits. Julio hits, and we go to Big Axe. Now, they may rock, paper, scissors. It's the first time to decide who will throw first for Big Axe, and then I would suspect that they'll rotate from there. And that seems to be the discussion right now. As they rock, paper, scissors. Oh. And it looks like Stron Riley is going first. So big moment here as he gets to lead off now. And it's a bullseye from Stron. So Julio will need to hit a bullseye to continue this round. Anything less, Stron will take a 2-0 lead. But he hits, and now clutches are alive if they want them now.
So we're going to see if they're going to make that agreement. We're both going clutches here. So I just want to speak to maybe the sportsmanship quality of the game.
Right. Yep.
The clutches aren't a mandatory at this point, but they have both elected to go clutch together. Since one person throws first, it's kind of a gentleman's move to both call clutch at the same time, even though the second person doesn't have to. Like, within the rules, Julio could throw a bullseye right now and take the round, but because we made that call earlier, we're going to stick with the clutches, and we're going to see where this goes.
And he hits it. And Julio has tied the match. Taking advantage of a missed clutch, Julio steps up and ties the match 1-1 here in this best 4 out of 7 of the A final.
I have to say, the crowd here today is really loving Julio. I mean, he's one of the nicest guys in axe throwing, and I'm always happy to see him when I get to the tournaments and when I meet up with him at different events or league nights or whatever. But the crowd here is going crazy. Every time he hits a clutch, every time he goes to Big Axe, he's just firing everybody up.
I was introduced to Julio, I believe, 2, maybe 3 years ago at the National Axe Throwing Federation Championship. Pardon me, the National Axe Throwing Championship 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's been a fan favorite ever since.
Oh, of course.
Just a great individual, as all of these competitors are. They're just good people to start, as you can see it as they interact with each other in such a friendly manner.
I think at this point we're kind of down to a lot of fan favorites. I mean, Stron is the person that a lot of people are expecting to turn out the championship tonight.
See the Super Stron t-shirts smeared
across the crowd. Yeah, and
as we head to the final acts of round 3, tied at 20, double clutch is called. And double clutch is hit, and we're going back to Big Axe.
Unbelievable. The consistency of both of these throwers is just amazing. Like so the perfect score that you can possibly throw in a league night match is 81 points. And so Stron has the highest record ever with an 80-point average on a season. And that's over 24 matches across.
That's pretty insane.
That's just unbelievable. I believe he missed 3 times on the whole season. That's over 2 months. He missed 3 times.
In 28 matches, he missed 3 throws.
3 throws.
That is something else.
Yeah. So, but Julio's right up there. I believe Julio's highest stat, we're looking at around a 78-79 average on a season. So these guys are just neck and neck.
Well, Sorry to interrupt
No,
you there.
go
As
ahead.
Julio, we got talking because we were so excited about the competition here between these two. Julio just took round 3 in Big Axe, so we're going to head to round number 4. Julio leading 2-1. Now, a loss in this match doesn't mean your day is done. You have to lose twice. You'll get bumped to the B bracket. But it's no easy climb as we see the far side there between LaChance and Kump moving along. And in this one, we're tied 5-5 in round number 4.
And I mean, with that Big Axe win for Julio, Julio's a very, very good thrower, but his Big Axe game is just unbelievable. He really, really shines when he gets into Big Axe, so I think every time one of these rounds ties and he gets to throw Big Axe, he's right in the pocket, and he's just loving that opportunity.
Yep. And to speak to the growth of the sport, 2 years ago I finished 5th place in this tournament, losing to Julio on a Big Axe clutch, ending 5th.
Sounds about right.
And now here I am up top with you.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Just how much this sport has grown as Julio gives us a wave there, leading 2-1.
We're both hitting clutches. We're going to Big Axe again.
Right back to it.
I have a feeling this is going to be a consistent theme for the rest of the evening.
Yes, I don't see any match going less than 7 rounds.
Yeah.
And less than 7 rounds of Big Axe.
Yeah, that's pretty much the level of competition we've gotten to.
Mind you, we've got 6 in this one at least.
Yeah, and I mean the kind of unbelievable quality of this is you're seeing these scores on your screen. We're throwing 27s on the hatchet rounds. You're getting the additional points for the Big Axe, but most people it'll take them.
Oh, and Julio's high.
It'll take them months, if not within their first year, maybe past it, to hit their first 27, to hit all 4 bullseyes, and then that clutch is quite an accomplishment for a lot of people. So for these guys to go 5-5-5-5-7
every time
all night is just an unbelievable accomplishment.
100%. And we are now tied 2-2, heading into round number 5 of the A bracket championship between Stron Riley on your left, Julio Romero on your right. And double bulls there.
And they're so clean. That's the thing that I think we're going to see here at the end of this tournament now. I mean, we've come down from 192 competitors on the day, and these bullseyes are generally going to be right inside that black circle, which is an accomplishment in itself.
They have 0 paint on either side of that axe.
So
no need for the device at any point.
Yeah, and that's the thing with our majority rules is we're always throwing for that bullseye, but as long as the majority of the blade is inside that black paint, we're going to call that a bullseye.
Yeah.
So when we're seeing people that are just consistently throwing all within that bullseye, barely ever touching the paint, is a pretty amazing accomplishment in itself. But to see it over and over and over and over again is just crazy.
And we are tied yet again at 27 here in round number 5, and we'll go right back to Big Axe. Julio to throw first. He'll step up to set the point, hoping for a bullseye here. I say hoping, but chances are he's going to get it. And he does.
Clean bull.
Now
clean
Stron
bullseye.
must hit a bullseye to continue the round. As he sets himself up. And drops. Oh, tough break. It was going to be a 3 anyway. He was high and outside.
Wow.
It
That-
looked like, and hit that knot.
That is exceptionally uncharacteristic of anyone in this tournament at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
But for Stron Riley, it's a big change. So I would be watching for Julio to kind of ride this wave now and take the confidence from that drop, and just keep pushing and pushing and trying to take this win.
Definitely. As we are now at a 3-2 lead for Julio Romero with an opportunity to knock Stron Riley, the defending champion, into the B bracket.
The funny thing about that opportunity, though, is Stron Riley did become the champion from the B bracket.
You're right.
So, I mean, as much as a win over Stron Riley is an incredible accomplishment in itself, he is not done yet. So if this is something that's taken by Julio, I would not be surprised if he ended up facing Stron Riley in that final match.
For sure, in a rematch. But I'm sure the two competitors on our far side in the B final at the moment, or in the B semifinal, LaChance and Kemp would have something to say about that. As they are currently at a 2-1 LaChance lead in round number 4 on the far side.
An incredible accomplishment for LaChance. He's been just on fire all night. So for him to still be in this and throwing against the first American tournament champion is huge. You're probably seeing the hands going up, seeing the crowd getting excited, and that's because we're on a Big Axe match on that B bracket.
And we got another double clutch.
Of course we do.
Big Axe here in the A final. Stron to throw first.
So just to clarify here, if Julio does take this round of Big Axe, that's the match.
Yes.
So this is a chance for Julio to win the match. Stron's really got to close on this one to stay in it.
And he starts us off with a bullseye, putting the pressure on Julio to at least hit that bullseye to continue continue the round. Keep wanting to say match, but we're not there yet.
I mean, you would still be continuing the match.
I suppose. Yes, you are right. I'm not entirely right.
Just trying to give you some credit, Tom.
I appreciate that.
There
and
it
he
is.
does. So we do continue the round, and we continue the match.
Clutches are live now, of course.
And
We're
there
gonna
they
call
go.
them.
Good old point for a big old clutch party here. Stron to throw first. Oh!
And he smokes it.
He was high, and it rocked back in just so ever tenderly, staying in the board as it looked like it might have fallen out. But now, Julio.
To keep the Big Axe match going, he's going to throw for clutch.
Ooh, did he get it?
This is it.
It
by
looks like he's just
the
slow.
slightest.
Yes, he is. So we head to round 7. Our prediction holds true.
It does.
Minus the fact that we're only going to have 6 rounds of Big Axe. Thanks to that first round. As the players take a quick sip of their Woodhouse lagers from our sponsor, Woodhouse Brewing Company, wetting their whistles as they prepare for round number 7.
Entirely separate of this sponsorship. My favorite beer before I was even a part of the axe throwing community was Woodhouse beer. And as soon as I joined the axe throwing community and it was in every venue that we go to, I was pretty excited to get it on the regular.
Nice little treat for you.
Yeah.
But again, thank you to all of our sponsors today. As you see them up on the banners here at the venue for sponsoring the National Axe Throwing Championship and supporting the National Axe Throwing Federation and the sport of axe throwing. We couldn't do what we're doing today without them. So a huge thank you to all of our sponsors.
And also a huge thank you to all the people that have come out for the tournament today. The turnout today is unbelievable. It's an amazing, amazing thing
We've
to
got
see.
at least 300 people in this crowd right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy in here. And just the growth of the sport in general across axe throwing throughout North America and now the world.
Yep.
We're seeing venues pop up all over the place. We're seeing all sorts of people, all different walks of life trying it out. And, you know, you join a league, you start learning how to throw your bullseyes, and soon enough you're going to end up in the tournament like this. So it really is anyone's game.
It truly is. As Julio blows some kisses to the crowd, turns and throws a bullseye, keeping us tied at 20 here into the 5th and final axe of round number 7. Clutches have been called, and both have been hit. We're going back to Big Axe for the 6th time in this A championship.
Tom, I think you should get a lottery ticket. You just called the 7 rounds with Big Axe on all of them.
I was wrong on the first round.
Did we go 6
only got
rounds of Big
6,
Axe?
yeah.
Fair enough.
Julio missed his clutch, and that was the only throw that he's missed so far in this match inside of Big Axe, which is insane in itself.
Yeah, so
But Julio to start us off, looking for his bullseye here in Big Axe. And he hits it dead center through the screw hole.
the cleanest bullseye I have seen.
Stron to match. And he hits it. Clutches are live again, but will they go for it? No
Was
question.
that a real question?
No
Was
question.
that a real
I
question?
apologize for asking such a silly question.
Oh.
And here they go. Double big axe clutch.
Julio Romero to lead it off.
Ooh, and he's wide
just
of
wide.
that left side clutch. Just wide to the right of it.
And here's Stron's opportunity. If he hits this clutch here, he is going to the finals.
He's going to the finals. Julio will stay in the tournament if it comes to that, but will be bumped to the B. And he nailed it.
Your
Stron
reigning
Riley,
champion.
poised to defend his title.
Wow.
Splitting that big axe clutch on that left-hand side
Unbelievable.
to claim his spot in that championship final as we go down to floor level and Matt Wilson to interview both Julio Romero and Stron Riley.
Oh my God, guys, what an incredible match. You guys are no strangers to competing together. Stron, tell me a little bit about that win. What's that moment like, man?
The win doesn't mean as much as you think. The fact that I'm here with Julio means everything. We've been talking about this 4 years ago, Yorkdale Sunday. Wednesday Green, let's go. That's where we started, and here we are, baby. Here we are.
Awesome, amazing. Julio, how you feeling? You ready to go? You got another match ahead of you here.
I'm ready to fucking bring it back. I'm gonna come right back for Stron, and we're gonna do this shit again.
You looking for a rematch here? One match away from a rematch?
100%.
All right, let's see it. Nice work, boys. Badass.
Thank you, Matt. What a great moment there for Stron Riley as he hits that big axe clutch to move back into the championship final. I am joined now by Big Will Gordon. How are you, good sir?
I'm
Great
doing
to have
really
you
good.
back on the mic.
Thank you so much.
We thank Ian Bobby Christensen, who joined us earlier, Matt Wilson, the commissioner of the National Axe Throwing Federation, and Matt Red Moreland, the host of the National Axe Throwing Federation's, what's his show called?
He does all the stats so we don't have to look
The
him
weekly, that's right. He does that
That's
for us because Matt is great with that show. And now we are joined by our pro, Big Will Gordon.
up. You're using that term pretty loosely, but I did compete today, and I've met a lot of these competitors. I played LaChance earlier. He's the one who knocked me down to B bracket. It did go to 5. We were the best 3 out of 5 at the time.
Yep.
And it was the judge's call about a missed clutch on the 5th round to go to big axe.
That's a tough goal. As we hear the cheers from the crowd,
So we
as
have
it
that
looks
cheering.
like LaChance has moved on, knocking Kump out
Now-
of the B bracket in round number looks like round number 6. Took him 6 rounds, taking it 4-2. As the crowd swarms the lane to raise him up as he moves on to the B final.
Well, we know that Kump came into this tournament with high expectations put on him by most of the throwers and the axe throwing community.
Yep.
He came out of the U.S. as really an unknown only 6 or 8 months ago
Yep.
and put up incredible numbers. And here we find him coming in this tournament with an extreme amount of pressure. And when I talked to him earlier, he's just like, I'm just doing this one moment at a time.
Yeah.
He came against a buzzsaw like LaChance. I guarantee you, all these guys that did the bracket pools on this tournament did not have LaChance beating Kump or even maybe getting it this far.
So we're going to take a look here at those brackets that you were talking of there, Big Will. They'll pop up on your screen here momentarily, and we'll talk to them as we get set for the B bracket championship. The winner of that will move on, as you can see here. So we have LaChance just defeated Kump. He'll move on to face Julio Romero, who we just witnessed dropping to Stron Riley in the A final.
And that could have been an A final on its own. I mean, that could have been the tournament final
And
on
it-
of
and it
itself.
may be yet.
And it could be still.
Could be yet, but I'm sure LaChance will have something to say about that as we move forward. As we take a look at the A bracket here, Stron Riley, the lone competitor remaining, guaranteeing himself a top 2 finish.
I talked to Stron earlier today when we first started going to the venues, and I asked him, I said, how do you feeling today? And he's just like, there's so much pressure
Yeah.
coming as the past champion. And his numbers are incredible. You look him up on stats. He's got like the first 4 top averages of all time. His numbers are incredible.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I feel as though I need to kind of find the fun back in the sport. And I think he's found it today. You see he's got big smiles on his face. He's got the emotion. And he's throwing very, very well.
Very consistent, very smooth. And as you said, with that smile on his face, talking with his competitors between throws, just having a laugh, enjoying their time together. Obviously wanting to win, but enjoying their time. As we take a look here in a moment, we're going to go to our sponsors and thank them again for all their support today of the National Axe Throwing Championship, of the National Axe Throwing Federation, and the sport of axe throwing. Without them, as we've mentioned numerous times, we wouldn't be here without them. Providing us with the food, with the drinks, with the wood, with the prize money for today's event. As you look and see them rolling through on the screen there. Great people in the crowd, great people sponsoring the sport as it continues to grow day by day.
I can tell you that the axe throwing community is unbelievably welcoming. If you're a new thrower and you're watching this and you're not sure, but it's something that's interesting to you, go to a club. There'll be people there that will mentor you. There'll be people there that will show you how everything runs. You really need no experience to get involved in this sport. And here we find some of these guys, like let's look at Comp, literally months ago, rising to the top. Not because the sport itself is that simple. It's because he's dedicated. He has people to learn from, teaching him the sport, teaching him the strategy. And as, again, the cream rise to the crop. When you have cream in your club, you want to become above them. So he has a strong club to throw out of. They taught him. He took it and ran with it, as we do with every other club that we are involved with.
Yep, and you've seen it through the day, like new competitors, old competitors, everyone just doing so well today, and just seeing that level of newcomers that is just setting the tone even at the lower stages of the tournament with the 192, even making it this far in your first year is incredible.
It really is. When you look at a pool of between 4,000 and 5,000 participants, and then that getting down to something around the mid-2000s, and then coming out of that in the top 200, 192 to be specific, and then come into this tournament with this kind of energy. And every match, I've been here 4 years. When I first came into this tournament, you might have had an easy match here and there. It doesn't matter what your ranking is. Look at Comp, over 100 in ranking, and here he is.
And here he is
doing so well.
Finishing in the top 4.
Top 4.
Guaranteed a spot in the top 4, and that's for your first year throwing.
He's
to come
so
into
consistent.
a tournament like this and do that is incredible. As we take a look, sorry, Will, to interrupt you there. As we take a look at the stats here for LaChance, as we get ready for this B final here, an average score of 61. He's thrown 41 perfect matches, hit 54.9% of his clutches when he calls it.
I have to be honest with you, those stats are actually a little bit surprising to me at his level of performance and how he's made it through today. I would expect those to be a bit higher.
Well, and maybe they're a little low. These are his life stats, so these are maybe from his earlier stats.
Okay.
And as we take a look here in a moment, sorry, you can continue on.
No.
But looking at Julio Romero here, he's got a high score of 81. We looked at his stats earlier, but again, highlighting the 107 perfect matches and 0% ones hit.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's pretty good.
That means he doesn't miss very often.
No, he knows he's a veteran of the sport. He's been around for a couple years now. He's a big personality. You hear the crowd chanting his name. Just a great competitor.
He's one of the most loved throwers in the sport. He reaches out to the community at large. Everybody knows him. He cheers your successes. So he's not just doing this for himself.
Yeah.
If he's invested into the sport, he's invested into you as a thrower and your success.
Right. Yeah, no, and you see it just in how he interacts with the other throwers that are here today and how he interacts with people that are just in the crowd. He loves the sport. He loves LaChance right now. He's just having a fun time with him at the moment, him and Starling.
These guys are not unfamiliar to each other.
Not at all.
So this will be a very loose match. I expect them to have a lot of interaction between each other. and the way LaChance is throwing, especially that match he had earlier, which was insane with all the big axe clutches.
That was something else.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of that big axe clutch here in this next match.
So as the two competitors get prepared here for, this will be the B final. So we're down to the final three, Will. Down to the final three. So the winner of this match will move on to face Stron Riley for the championship final. The loser goes home, but goes home with some pretty full pockets thanks to our sponsors here today. Taking home a portion of that prize money of that $20,000 pot.
Well, we both know in the last couple of years how the prize money has exponentially grown in the sport as the interest has grown, as the expansion has happened within our sport. And we look at before maybe being top 4 or maybe top 6, maybe getting a little piece of that pie. We're now really expanding it down a little deeper into the pool. But again, that top spot is much greater than it has ever been.
Oh, for sure. That $10,000 first prize is huge, and it all goes out to our sponsors and to the growth of the sport and to the members of the National Axe Throwing Federation that have gotten us to this point and that have grown the sport. And you see it in all the people that are in the crowd today and all the different venues that are represented in the crowd, and just great people and a great community as it continues to grow. And we look forward.
Can you hear me?
We don't want to look too far forward yet, as we still got 2 matches left here today.
It has been a very long day so far, and I know
want to
those
be
of you
that
in
much
skills
bigger.
are going to
You can
continue
hear
throwing
Matt
into the night, which
Wilson.
is great. But I just want to give it up real quick for all the referees and the staff on the lanes that held it down all day today at all the venues. Give it up for Cherry Street, for Bait Shop, for the staff at the bar. Amazing. Give it up for the film crew. These guys are killing it. And this match right here is our actual semifinal. The winner of this plays Stron in the final and has to beat Stron twice. So let's give it up for these last competitors. This is killer. We got LaChance and we got Julio. Let's do this.
All right, thank you, Matt Wilson, for getting the crowd hyped up for this B championship. Again, the winner of this match between Julio and LaChance will move on to face the defending champion, Stron Riley.
I'm very excited to see this match. I'm going to throw my hat into the ring of Julio.
Okay.
I know he would like to go back and visit Stron and get a little revenge on that last match. He didn't make many mistakes. It was a very, very close match going the full distance. And I think watching him and watching LaChance and competing against LaChance, I think that his game has been kind of neutral for the last match.
Right.
While he's been advancing, he hasn't been kind of lighting it up.
Right. Yep. Couple missed throws here and there that has found himself here.
It's a great position to be in.
It's not a bad spot to be in. Right. He wants more, and hopefully he can make those corrections and get himself to that next stage. I'm going to take LaChance just to have something against you. We can't both have the same guy here. And he's been throwing well today. Like we saw that match earlier with Stefan, just clutch, and away they went.
Well, when we look at this match, when I say that I'm putting it in Julio's camp, I'm talking that the difference might be the 1 or 2 throws through this entire match. We're not talking like a walkover. We're talking a couple throws.
Going to be tight.
Yeah.
Tight for sure. We expected, as we were saying with Red earlier, to go the distance, to go 7, and to go 7 rounds of big axe. So we'll see if these two, what they have in store for us as they start us off with double bullseyes.
I expect nothing less of these two competitors at this point in the tournament. They're highly focused. They've been throwing at a very high level all day. These bullseyes are not simple for them. They are concentrating to an extreme amount to just last this long in the tournament.
Yep. Great level of stamina and that arm to keep going, but that's where that gentler throw kind of helps out. Helps with that longevity through the day. You don't get as fatigued as you move through this 192-person bracket.
This bracket started early for each one of these competitors. We all started, probably showed up at the venue around 9 o'clock this morning.
Yep.
Got a bit of practice in. If you got to buy the first round, we're probably throwing around 9:20, 9:25. So here we are, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, still competing.
Oh, and a tough break there for LaChance as he rolls out of the clutch. And Julio takes round 1, letting him know to just brush it off, move on to the next round.
That's right. That could be a sign of fatigue.
Yep.
It could be just a bad break.
Yeah.
As well.
For sure. And it was just a little bit of an over-rotation. It got in there, and it just kept going ever so slightly.
That can happen. You can get a bit quick. You still have to check your lanes. And this is what it means. It's not just throwing. It's everything. It's from your setup, your foot placement. It's getting that arm set. It's throwing through the target. You're doing this repetitively. You have one little break in that, you can have a negative result.
Yep. Let's see if he can make the adjustments here as we go double bulls again here in round number 2. Julio leading 1 round to 0. Once again, the winner of this will move on to face Stefan apologies to Stron Riley, the defending champion.
That's right. Well,
I was looking at Stefan across the room, and he got into my head.
he's a big presence within the sport, so we know how that can happen.
Thank you for understanding that. As we go, tough break there for LaChance as he goes high and falls down by 2 points here into the 4th act. 15-13 for Julio.
So I would think that Julio may go clutch here on the final axe, up by 2 in the later rounds. I like the move when you take the win and not settle for big axe.
Well, we saw it from Stefan in the previous round against LaChance. That's how LaChance got here. Stefan missed. LaChance hit his bullseye. And Julio makes no mistake and takes a 2-0 lead. LaChance has some work to do.
Julio's game is strong from top to bottom. His big axe, his clutch, his hatchet, really something to watch, to hang around with him and just throw with him is incredible. I lost to him when we went to Choptober. He knocked me out. He was flawless in that tournament.
And again, speaking to the level of competition today, the champion of that tournament is not even in the tournament anymore.
I know.
He just got knocked out previously before this match. But
it just goes to show you on how well and what the level of competition is. One minor slip up here and there, and you find yourself on the L side of the bracket.
It's all right. I've been up here all day, Big Will. As double bulls are hit again, and we head to the 3rd act, tied at 10.
I really enjoy when I can watch 2 competitors smiling, throwing with enthusiasm, talking back and forth, having that interaction, really keeping communication between the 2 of them. It makes it fun for us to watch as well.
For sure. And we go to the final act, tied at 20 here in round number 3. Clutches have been called. Julio splits it. LaChance splits it, and we're going to big axe for the first time.
That's right. We'll find our first taste of how they're feeling right now with the big axe. My expectation would be coming into this moment, depending on who goes first, I would like to see bulls from both of them. Again, I'm going to give my edge to Julio because of his consistency only, proving consistency.
Right. Well, we'll see. LaChance will lead us off. Ooh, he's low. That might even be a 1, Big Will.
I agree. It looks from a big 1 from our position here.
He puts up the single digit, taking a 1. That's tough break there.
Very uncharacteristic at this point in the match.
And Julio with an opportunity to put it away here in round number 3, and he does it with a bullseye, and he takes a commanding 3-0 lead. Still anyone's match.
The pressure really does go over to LaChance here. He really has no option here but to make 0 mistakes. He has to throw perfect.
Yeah.
And even, I guess, super perfect at this point.
Super perfect at this point. Well, with how Julio has been throwing, because he has also gone super perfect each of the rounds so far.
That's right. So in the tournament here, he's throwing a super perfect or natural 81 through that format. And of course, I'm sure it's been stated earlier, a perfect match is really 75. So he's been throwing above and beyond what perfect really is.
Yeah. Getting that 27 in each round. As we stay tied here into axe number 2 of round 4. Double bulls hit again.
different approaches to the release of the axe, but very similar result. Their hand position, the way they release, are almost identical, but their movement into the bull is different.
Yep, you see LaChance with a little bit more upright in his axe. Julio has it tilted back towards himself, the head of the axe that is.
A thrower would start with it tilted back to help the rotation of the axe into the bullseye.
Yeah.
A thrower that starts with it a little bit more vertical, that means they've developed a technique where they can get the rotation they want without having to tip that axe back towards them.
Clutch hit by Julio. Clutch hit by LaChance, and here we go. Back to big axe for the second round in a row.
So I think LaChance will probably go first here. Oh, Julio's up
Julio
first.
stepping in to go first, yep.
Big breath by LaChance. He's got a little breathing room here.
Oh, what do we have here, though? Julio might be a bit low. Calling for the device, just to be sure.
Looking from our vantage point, it looks a little low, but it could device differently. I've been fooled many, many times with device.
Well, our veteran referee, Glenn Cross, is out to measure, and he'll let us know here. And it's a 3 from Glenn Cross. The fingers come up. Julio with a 3.
You never want to just give away points. No. It's a wise move to get the device. Sometimes, because paint is in your favor when we're scoring here,
yep.
Sometimes the result is better than what you look with the eye.
Oh, exactly. Ooh, no doubt on that one, though. And LaChance takes his first round of the match, pulling it back to 3-1.
The pressure that he was under for that shot, I mean, I guess he could have got a 3 and moved on to the next one, but to take that win with the bullseye, I think it really could have given him a boost going into the next round.
A little bit of confidence heading into round number 5. Stays alive and now has one under his belt.
Anytime you can make the shot that you want under pressure, that's going to help you into the next round.
So we head to round number 5, 3-1. Julio in this best 4 out of 7 B bracket championship. Pardon me, it's just a B bracket final.
Well, it's like a championship nonetheless.
At this point.
Again, very workmanlike right now. The level of concentration, they're still keeping up, they're still performing. Again, as we say, the repetition, it's a good thing in the sport. You want to repeat the performance that you're doing axe after axe.
Keep that consistency as you go.
That's right. And you can see these are. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Tom, what I was going to say is that what we're really looking for is when you look at these axes, they're not even touching paint a lot of the times. That means they're very, very focused. They're not wandering outside the scoring zone.
Both of those previous throws just went dead center, not touching anything. And about as in the middle as they could be as Julio hits his clutch. And LaChance forces big axe here in round number 5 as he looks to force round 6.
We switch it up here. This is a gentleman's agreement.
Yep, they made that decision at the start, the first time they went to big axe, and then agreed that they would just rotate after that. They did that rock, paper, scissors to decide the initial, but alternating from there as LaChance hits his bowl. Julio, a bullseye. We continue.
The pressure moves over to Julio now.
A 3. And we have ourselves a 3-2 match.
I believe it's a bull.
It should be good from here, from our vantage point anyway. He's going to let LaChance have a look, and he says yes, no doubt about it there. So both players agree, as we've talked about a couple times.
We're going up
on
top.
What the value is, so we move along. And clutches have been called as they are now active. Both players hitting their big axe bullseye to open the door for big axe clutch. Whoa! Again, with the clutch, you just got to break paint. No more 51%. You just got to touch green. And LaChance with maybe a percentage point on that one, but he gets it.
Just the tip, as they say around here, counts.
That's right.
And he took advantage of that in that throw.
And Julio does the exact opposite and goes 100% right down the middle.
Julio is known for his clutch performance with big axe. He's really stood above a lot of throwers because of that exact throw.
A deep breath and a hit. Julio gives it the thumbs up. LaChance pulls it out. And he puts the pressure back on Julio.
LaChance really digging deep, keeping that pressure on Julio.
And Julio makes no mistake, 2 in a row.
I can tell you today, performing, and you know this too, Tom, just hitting 2 clutches, big axe back-to-back is extremely difficult. Under this kind of pressure is phenomenal. It's a little bit mind-blowing.
LaChance makes it 3. He's been tight on all 3, but he's got it, and that's all that matters. So Julio.
He's throwing the egg door, which seems to have some kind of magic for every thrower that touches one. Julio with
another one right down the pipe. No mistake, and that's 3 in a row. And both players are ultra perfect, as we named it earlier.
Is that what it's called? The ultra
That's
perfect
what we've
now?
decided. We had to go above and beyond, as both players threw their 27s and have so far hit nothing but bowls and clutches with big eggs. Oh, and there's our first pitch, LaChance. Just low. And now, a chance for Julio to move on and get redemption against Stron Riley.
A crowd favorite here by all measures.
And he does. He makes no mistake. And Julio Romero will move on to the championship final to face Stron Riley.
We have the rematch.
As we go down to floor level here to Matt Red Moreland, he's going to have an interview here with both LaChance and Julio.
Look at those total scores
Julio
across the
saying
board
he wants
here.
to go first.
So
yes.
Hey guys, I'm here with Julio LaChance, and Julio has something to say first. What do you want to say?
Just everybody give it up for Phil real quick right now. Give it up for Phil.
Phil, do you have anything to say? You've had an amazing run today. I think everyone's really proud of you. How are you feeling?
Just overwhelmed,
You'll
happy,
be able to hear everything.
Excited. Couldn't have asked for anything more. It's been amazing. Thank you to everybody.
Thanks so much, Phil. That's incredible. Julio, how everyone's cheering for Phil right now. Great job, buddy. Great job. I love it. I love it so much. How are you feeling going into the next match? Tell me what's going on right now.
Terrible, because if Monday playoff's going to come around and LaChance is going to slap me for this one, so he's going to remember this.
Okay, buddy. I'm going to send it back up to you guys. We're going to get ready for the next match.
Thanks, Red. Great interview there again, and great competition, as I am now joined by Avery.
Hey, Tom.
Welcome, Avery. Great to have you aboard.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Thoughts on the day so far?
Amazing throwing. Like 81s for days. It's crazy how many 27s people are getting. I just wish I could do that in my own game.
You'll get there. You'll get there. Avery Armstrong, right?
Yeah, Avery Armstrong.
I thought that was it, and then I was blanking as I was introducing you, so I
Tom
apologize.
Black, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Great to have you out, though, Avery.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you'll get there. You'll get to that point. You're throwing in your first season of league.
I just did my first year of it, yeah.
First year, yeah.
So I qualified for round 1, but did not quite make it to this level. So I'm excited to be here and watching it firsthand.
All right, so we're going to take a look here at Stron and Julio's solo stats from the day so far. If we take, actually, first we're going to have a look at the brackets here to see how we got this far. Stron Riley and Julio Romero in a rematch of the A Championship, now facing off in the championship title, for the championship title and a chance at the Wilson Cup. Now, Julio Romero, being the B bracket winner, must win 2 best out of 7s in order to win. Because Stron has not lost yet today. It is double elimination. He has to be beaten twice. So Julio will need to win the first match, force match number 2, and then hope for the best in match number 2.
That's right. It's a tough road for Julio, but he can do it. We saw him hit nothing but straight clutches, especially with that big axe. His big axe game is strong tonight. He's got this.
And Stron hoping to repeat, not have to play that second match. As we take a look at his stats here, throwing a 73.7 average. And that clutch rate, just 81.9, and he's thrown 1,120 clutches.
Wow, that's incredible throwing there. He does not miss.
Not often. As you can see, he had 0 ones. As we look at Julio's for the third time today, because Julio keeps moving on. And just very impressive stats again, but neither competitor has hit a 0.
Here, 0s. Wow. Incredible throwing by them all.
Apologies, a 1. As our scoring rate here, the ring scoring for anyone that's just joining us is the black ring gets you 5 points, the red ring gets you 3 points, and the blue ring counts for 1. Anything that hits and falls is 0. It's a drop. Anything that hits outside that blue ring is also a 0. You got to get it inside the paint, and it's got to be 51% or more. We score from the outside of that line in and the outside of the line out, as you know, Avery. And then anything that's tight, we call for that device, and we get it measured out if we need to. But we always go to that competitor first. You decide with your opponent. If the two competitors can agree, then that's what the point value is, and we don't need that device.
That's right. Lots of good sportsmanship happening today. Sometimes there's been those tough calls where we have to call on the second official to come on in, but it's doing great, and people are throwing nothing but bullseyes right now.
Speaking of our officials, our main scorer for this match, running the iPad, is Matt Widow. And our official referee being called in is Glenn Cross, if he's needed. Glenn Cross, as you can see him on your screen there in the striped jersey. As we take a look at our sponsors again, thanking them for all of their support today. As the crowd is chanting Yorkdale, as we look at the sponsors here, Bo's Brewing.
Cherry Street Barbecue, always good food for us.
The Greater Good, great little pub downtown Toronto.
And Faulkner Rubinoff, an excellent sponsor for us.
Gardner Roberts, MNP. Pfaff, Harley Davidson Motorcycles, RBC Foundation, the Doc Ellis.
That's where we all want to be tomorrow night.
That'll be the after party later today, with a few or more of Bo's going down. I keep just calling their one brand of beer, and a few Woodhouse Brewing Companies I'm sure will be enjoyed later this evening, as they have been today. But we thank all of our sponsors for all of their support today and through the year, supporting the sport of axe throwing, supporting the National Axe Throwing Federation, and supporting today's championship.
We couldn't have been as big as we are today without them. It's huge.
For sure. And we have that $20,000 prize pool. We are down to the final 2 that we've looked at a couple of times. It gets real now.
Super
as we bring it up on the screen here, as first place walks away with Avery.
$10,000. Must be nice.
But second place, no slump there. They get $3,500.
Yeah. And then third with $2,000.
And that will actually go to LaChance today. LaChance walks away with third prize today, so he will be going home with $2,000. Our fourth place competitor walks home with $1,000.
Fifth and sixth get $750 each. Not bad, not bad.
Seventh and eighth are walking away with $500.
And then 9th through 12th gets $350 each.
It's been a great day of axe throwing. Our sponsors have allowed us to have that prize pool, to have this event today. You see the large crowd that we've got here, probably 300-400 people in the venue today.
At the very least, absolutely. You got a large crowd, the biggest prize pool ever awarded in an axe throwing competition.
And the biggest axe throwing competition that we've seen.
Absolutely.
192 people, down to the final 2.
Yeah, it's amazing that we squeezed it all in today.
Right? And we thank you to Battle Pickering, Battle Yorkdale, and Battle Villiers for hosting the event today for the National Axe Throwing Federation. and the national championship today.
Yeah, the staff are amazing. They had everything run smoothly from the get-go. They're just fantastic people to work with, so super stoked that they were able to pull it all together, and we had a nice, easy day.
The staff have been great. The referees have been great. The crowd has been outstanding.
As always, it's the battle way.
It's the battle way. It's the axe throwing way.
The NATF way. Yeah, it's amazing. The community itself, axe throwing community, we're your family no matter which venue you're at. We have people from all over the world that we're all cheering on.
And all of the National Axe Throwing Federation members that are here today making up this crowd. We've got people from all over the world that you mentioned, from Canada, the U.S., from Australia, from Poland, Korea, all over the world represented here today. Their friends, their families, the crowd is getting hyped up.
These finals.
As we get prepared for the championship final between Stron Riley and Julio Romero.
That's 4 out of 7. Let's go, boys.
And once again, Julio Romero, being the B bracket winner, must win 2 matches in order to move on in this tournament and be the champion today.
Absolutely.
No easy feat against last year's defending champion, but
he's got a tougher road. He got knocked out of A bracket, so coming back from B, going for those 2 wins back to back, it's a tough road, but not something that he can't do.
and if anyone knows that it can be done and to watch out and make sure that he's hitting his throws, it's Stron Riley, because he did it last year.
Yeah.
He was the B champion. He worked his way back. He won 2 rounds of best 4 out of 7.
The good thing about being a B champion is that you stay warm. You're
Yes.
constantly throwing, whereas the A bracket, they're waiting for that player to continue. So as long as Julio doesn't get too tired, he's got this.
Yes, being that double elimination, having the A and B bracket, you're right, Avery. The A winner waits that little bit longer while they wait for those final B bracket matches to wrap up.
Exactly. We hope that Stron doesn't get cold, but he's no stranger to this competition. He knows how to stay nice and warm up, so he'll be good. Plus, he's got that fantastic cheering section.
Oh, that's true as well. He's got, what do we have, about 20 T-shirts in the crowd of Stron as Superman, Super Stron, I believe they were chanting earlier.
Yeah.
And then we've got the crowd chanting for you at the moment, Avery.
I've got a couple
Your
venues
fans
here.
from Calgary
Yeah.
and Niagara Falls.
A little bit everywhere. It's nice. It's nice. It's my battle fam. I'm expanding across Canada.
Give them a wave. Let them.
Hey guys.
There they go.
And
They
my
appreciated
Niagara
it.
family. And my Niagara family over there.
We got our final.
All right, there's Matt Wilson on the mic.
Versus Julio. It's going to be amazing. I know we're all going to be fired up about it. I have to just ask, please do not rush the lanes when there's a champion. There is a lot of very valuable equipment here that will close this place if it breaks. All right? I can't afford it. All right? So do not rush the lanes. We will do an award ceremony moments after. I know I'm so boring. I'm sorry. All right? Scott, please respect that for me, and let's cheer our hearts out for this one.
As Matt Wilson gets the crowd hyped and ready to go, giving a final warning as there's a lot of camera equipment and a lot of gear around the space right now. No matter who wins or who loses,
Unlike
the crowd has to hold back.
Unlike the traditional versus photo, we have a nice, lovely photo. Them sharing the love right there.
With the little hearts made from each other's hand.
Yeah. 2 Yorkdale boys, is that where they're both striving from?
I believe so, yes. As the crowd was chanting earlier, they were both original. Julio still is out of Yorkdale. Stron came to Pickering in time, but I believe he did get his start at Battle Yorkdale.
Right. Rock, paper, scissors to decide the lanes.
He now finds himself, though, Stron that is, down in the little warmer weather down in Scottsdale, Arizona, as he's opened up a battle venue down there as the GM of Scottsdale.
He's staying nice and warm in sunny Arizona, unlike the rest of us here in Canada, or Calgary and Mike. A little colder there for me.
All right, and it looks like we're ready to go. Rock, paper, scissors has been completed as they do a final chat to decide the sides. And they give a cheer to the crowd to get them ready to go. They're ready to have some fun, and they're ready to compete for $10,000 and the Wilson Cup. Here we go, round number 1.
The biggest honor of the year.
Double bull, tied, axe number 2. Stron Riley is on your left. Julio Romero is on your right. And that might be the first time I got that correct today.
There we go, 2 more bullseyes.
Double bulls, tied, axe number 3, tied at 10.
On to the 4th axe, and we're still tied with double bullseyes. These gentlemen are not missing.
Dead center, right through the wood, past the paint. No device needed yet again. 100% in the bullseye.
Clean bullseyes into the 5th axe. They both call clutch.
And they both hit.
Nicely done. This
And
goes
we're
straight to big axe.
headed to big axe, that's great. Who will throw first? They will decide here momentarily. As they will do a rock, paper, scissors, as we've seen a couple of times today. They'll rock, paper, scissors for that first initial decision of who's going to throw first, and then from there they have
Typically
tended to alternate after that.
Yeah.
We expect the same.
They're looking to hit some paint. Whoever gets the highest points gets to move on. If they both hit a bullseye, they can then go for the clutch. Bullseye for Stron.
And no mistake there as he goes right down the middle. Julio to match here. And he does, just kissing the line on the left side of that bullseye.
They call clutch, going for that little green dot for the 7 points. The crowd goes silent. Everybody's waiting for this.
Stron just
It's
tucks
close.
it in, we believe. He says yes, but
looks good.
Widow, nope. He will call for Glenn Cross. Glenn Cross will come in and have a look.
It's tight.
And he, no doubt about it, gets up close, makes the call.
Nicely done.
And the crowd gives a cheer to Glenn, a seasoned veteran and fan favorite.
Julio has to match that shot or a round goes to Stron.
And he does, no mistake, and they stay perfect.
On to big axe number 3. They call clutch once more.
Looking to stay ultra perfect,
Yeah.
as we've dubbed it today.
Nice. That's a
No
clean
doubt
one.
this time, you're right.
When you split that clutch, nothing feels better.
Especially with that big one.
Right? If only I could.
All in time, Avery, all in time. And Julio, no mistake either. And we stay ultra perfect.
Ultra perfect for the 4th axe and big axe to break this tie in the first round of our finals.
Looking to break the ice and take that 1-0 lead in the match. Ooh, but Stron just wide to the right side of that left-hand clutch.
For the win. If Julio hits this clutch, he's got the round 1.
As he sets himself up on the big axe line.
Small chant from the crowd.
Ooh, but he's high.
Julio misses
And
too.
wide.
Back to Stron. Are they going to go clutch again? They are.
Why not,
Shocker.
right? Why not? At this point.
Bullseyes are too easy for them.
Has become the theme of the day. Stron to throw first. Ooh, he's wide into that same spot. Just wide to the right of that left-hand clutch. And Julio with a chance to take a 1-0 lead here with a stick.
He had the chance the previous axe. Will he miss again?
And he gets it this time and takes a 1-0 lead. Julio Romero takes the lead in match number 1 of the championship final.
Well done, Julio.
So both players take a quick break here to grab a swig of some Woodhouse and prepare for round number 2. There's a quick technical adjustment to our one floor camera there.
More love between these boys.
A great first round there, though, as both players were super perfect. Stron, until those last couple of Big Axe clutches where Stron was wide, Julio went high,
Absolutely.
Stron wide again, and then Julio
You know
makes no
Stron's
mistake.
going through his head exactly what went wrong on those last 2 throws. He won't let it happen again.
He'll make the necessary adjustments as he moves forward here, we hope.
Absolutely. Very technical thrower.
And Julio not allowing, he let him off the hook once, but not doing it twice.
Absolutely not. You can't give him a window.
So as he takes the 1-0 lead and a tied second round so far, 5-5 double bullseye.
Second axe, they tied again.
And the hatchets stay perfect. Nothing but 5s and clutches so far. Into the third axe of round 2.
Fourth axe, still tied. These gentlemen have very similar throws, eh?
Very gentle, as we've seen with a number of competitors today. Just that softer, as Ian Bobby coined it, the Canadian pinch.
Oh, the Canadian pinch now.
The Canadian pinch, I believe, is what he was calling
I've
it
heard
earlier.
the Canadian flick.
Or the flick as well, yes. It's all part of that.
Nicely done. Double
soft-
clutches. We're going to Big Axe once more.
Right back to it. But that soft, gentle throw that's just light grip on the axe as you just place it where you need it to go.
Absolutely. Huge difference from 3 years ago when everyone was still throwing much, much harder.
And part of that development of the sport was gentlemen like Stuntman, our Bose representative,
Exactly.
as we talk about one of our sponsors today. He has that gentler throw. Stefan Herda, as we've seen earlier, those two kind of introduced that softer, gentler throw to the greater community as they were winning championships using those softer throws, and now it's been adapted throughout.
Absolutely. You see it travel. We're slowly, after the Urban Open in last summer, they're seeing it more and more in the States as well. They're developing that softer throw.
I believe that's where that Canadian pinch or Canadian flick
Yeah.
term came from, was from that Urban Open.
When all the Canadians went down south.
As
Nicely
Julio
done.
nails his clutch with the big axe.
So we're on our tiebreaker. Stron Riley has to hit the clutch in order to match that shot.
And here he goes to keep round 2 alive.
And
Ooh, he
he's
hits that
just
spot. That's
wide
the third
again.
time in a row. He can't quite
Julio.
get it dialed in here.
Julio takes round 1 and 2 on the finals into the third round.
So this is big for Julio, as he does need to win match 1 to force match number 2.
Absolutely.
He's the B champion, or the B winner. He needs to win to give Stron his first loss of the day
Absolutely.
and force that second match. And currently sitting up 2-0.
There's power
Good
to be
spot to
rising
be.
from the B bracket. You stay hot, you stay in control of your axe, you've got it.
And 2-0 is a good spot to be, but it's not a comfortable spot,
It is
especially not
not.
against somebody like Stron.
Absolutely. Stron's not going to let him get away a third time. This will not be a sweep.
As Julio and Stron interact with the crowd a little bit as they prepare for round number 3. As we look to the crowd for a little bit, now we're back. But Avery, our thoughts on how we think the rest of this match is going to go?
I think Stron's going to pull away with at least a couple rounds. Julio is doing amazing with his big axe, forcing him to get there. But we shall see. With Stron going right 3 times in a row on his big axe clutch and not quite hitting it, I think he's going to make the necessary adjustments for the next one.
Whether it's a footing thing or he makes that necessary just slight tweak with his axe or whatever he needs to do, I feel like you're right.
Move
He'll
over
make whatever
millimeters
adjustment.
even.
He's too experienced to not make the adjustment. It's actually even surprising to see him hit that same spot 3 times, but also that's how consistent he is.
That's true.
It's a miss, but he's hit that exact same spot
Yeah.
3 times in a row.
Exactly.
But I do expect this one as well to go the full 7 here, but we'll see if Julio has something to say about that as he tries to take a 3-0 lead here in round 3.
Absolutely. Super important to have that first few matches in. But
Now,
as long as he doesn't get comfortable, we're good.
we'll see if both players can keep their hatchets alive here. Their perfect streak with the hatchets alive. I hope I'm not jinxing it by saying it, but let's be honest with these two. I have zero effect on how they're going to play.
Absolutely. It's all a mental game at this point. Any one of these players, all day, any one of these players could have hit an 81 in their sleep. So it's just a matter of who is on today. And these gentlemen are just on.
This is a slight break here as we fix a minor technical difficulty. But we're just about ready to go. As we get the thumbs up and we're ready to go, as Julio gives us a wave. Good to see you, Julio. Good luck out there. And he refocuses. It's just great to see the smiles on both players' faces. They want to win, but they're staying loose.
They want to win, but they're equally cheering for the other. You know they're both going to be happy no matter how this goes.
As they both hit their bullseyes, and we go to axe number 2 here in round 3. Tied at 10 into the third axe now.
They're so consistent that even the spots on the target that they're hitting are the only part that's getting cheered.
Julio a little higher on that one, but still 100%. Into the bullseye as we stay tied at 15 into the fourth axe. 2 axes left here in round 3.
Nicely done. 2 more bullseyes.
And here it
Final
comes,
axe.
Avery.
Clutch is called.
Clutch is called. And they hit it and stay perfect with the hatchets and go back to the big axe.
Back to big axe. Now, I believe it's Stron who is up first as they've been taking turns back and forth. He is.
There we go.
He's going for the bullseye to try and get as many points as possible to go to that clutch.
And here he goes, setting himself up.
Nicely
And he
done.
drops it in there nicely for 5. And Julio to match. Looking to take a 3-0 lead here in the best 4 out of 7 match number 1.
Sheer determination. Nicely
And
done.
he hits his bullseye, and now
Clean bullseye. So now they're calling clutch. Stron's up first. We're hoping he makes the proper adjustments on this one.
clutches have been called and agreed upon by both competitors. Now, as we've talked about earlier, if Stron throws and hits or misses his clutch, Julio doesn't need to go for the clutch. As we jinx him. So Stron is high. Julio doesn't need to throw for clutch right now. He could throw for the bullseye, but they've made that agreement, that competitors' agreement to throw for the clutches, so they're going to stick with that. Oh, doesn't get it. It's good, he says. Thumbs up. Stron does as well. You can see the pain as he pulled it out. And Julio
takes a 3-0 lead. If he wins this fourth one, we go right into the next round, next set of rounds.
Next match. Now, 3-0. 3-0. It's still anyone's match. Like it really is. Like we've seen it earlier, a few matches earlier on. Come down 2-0, comes back.
Absolutely.
3-0, pulled back to 3-2 earlier as well that we watched.
You got it.
And with a competitor like Stron, defending champion, he's not going to just lay over and take it to round match 2. He wants to get back into this one. He wants to end it in a single match, best 4 out of 7. He doesn't want to have to throw that best of 14.
Absolutely. So Stron's in a good spot. If he does lose this round, he still has another match to go. But he doesn't want to go there. More
double
bullseyes.
versus there.
But Julio's just on fire right now. If he goes to Big Axe again, he's a little more consistent in this match than Stron. We did see, however, Stron did move over to adjust his Big Axe throw.
And missed high, which was
He
straight.
missed high.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe just a few too many adjustments to his throw.
Just slightly. Onto the fourth axe, still looking for those bullseyes.
We hope it's not nerves getting through.
Does he feel nerves?
We're not sure. We do think he is a robot.
Part robot, for sure.
But
Clutch is called on the final axe.
Julio is currently
Nailed.
up 3-0 as they hit their clutches, and we go back to Big Axe.
Now Julio is up first for this Big Axe round, provided that they continue alternating.
And you're right, as the players were trying to figure it out there, but it is in fact Julio. Good call, Avery.
I can remember slightly.
We're heading to round 4 Big Axe. Overtime here.
Looking to bull in.
And Julio does. Stron to match. Anything less than a bullseye. And we go to match 2. And he hits. So now clutches have been activated. Now, will they call it? That is up to them. And of course they do.
They do. Why not, right? That's what the crowd loves to see. They love a good Big Axe clutch.
And really, they've been throwing it all day. It's got them this far as Julio hits again. Why not continue with what you're comfortable with what you know you're confident in throwing?
It's what they throw in their regular season. Why switch it up for NATCs? Stron Riley.
Oh, and he dials it back in. He's a little bit tight, but he's pulled it back in.
Nicely done. We're back.
And now we're back.
They called clutch again.
To clutches yet again, you're right. For the 3rd round of Big Axe here in round number 4 of match 1.
Julio.
Ooh, Julio is tight.
He's going to.
He's saying good. Stron says, if you think it's good, I trust you.
Stron takes
Glenn
his word
Cross
for it.
is seeing it from the far side, and he is nodding yes. Our official on the far side. So Stron to stay alive in match number 1. And he gets it. He's starting to pull it back in. We saw him miss 3 left.
Absolutely.
A little bit high. Sorry, 3 to the right of that left side. A little bit high, and then he sunk one that was just tight, and now he's pulled it back a little bit more even then. But again, it doesn't matter as long as you're touching that green, which he didn't on those previous 4.
Just
and Julio might not have here.
This is another close call for Julio that he's calling.
No, he
Stron
does.
says it's good again.
Thumbs up from both competitors. And a little bit of nervous shake there from Julio as he wasn't sure, but he gets it.
Stron stared down that clutch once more.
And in the same position here on the 4th. Oh, and he's low this time, and Julio
takes the first
sweeps match number 1. Wow.
We go to the next one.
Stron is not done yet. Stron is still in it. That is his first loss of the day.
Of the year.
Actually, yes, you're right. He's been undefeated through league, which is insane in itself. We're going to go down to the floor right now to Matt Red Moreland, formerly known as Red.
Hey guys, I'm coming to you live from the floor here. I just want to clarify to everybody, because this is a double elimination tournament and Julio has lost earlier today in the tournament, we're going to go another round. So to win the tournament, the winner of this next match is going to be your tournament winner. But because Julio lost earlier today, that first win, it is not over. We have to go one more match, and the winner of that is going to be your new champion. So here we go. We're going to go back up top to the new winner and the new coverage of the final match. Here we go. Tom and Will, please take it away.
Thanks, Red. And yes, I am rejoined up here by Big Will Gordon. Thank you to Avery Armstrong for joining us there to call that first match with us. Welcome back, Will. Thanks for rejoining us here.
Thanks, Tom.
And we got an exciting finish ahead of us and the potential first-time champion with Julio Romero.
I'm a little bit at a loss of words just because the level of proficiency of axemanship I've seen here today, the consistency under this amount of pressure is extremely, extremely rare to see. And to see these two guys performing at that level consistently is really, I was talking to somebody over here saying it almost looks robotic. You got to remember, they're throwing a piece of steel that weighs around 2.5 pounds. Total weight might be around 3.5, with about a 4 5/8 inch blade on it, around 22 feet, into a target that's not only about 7 inches around to qualify to go to a 2-inch target. It's pretty remarkable.
Well, and just watching that round, the most shocking thing was almost that it was a sweep. Considering when you look at just the stat line itself, outside of that big axe, both players went super perfect the entire 4 rounds.
Exactly right. Now, prior to this match, I talked to both competitors. I talked to both Stron and Julio. Julio was more of a congratulatory, hey, Big Will, stay in it, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling loose. I talked to Stron. It was a little different story. He's like, the pressure people put on him coming into this tournament was Stron. And then we had Mike Kump kind of thrown into that conversation for a long time. And he's like, man, it's been unreal. And he's had so many changes in his personal life, moving into the U.S., taking over the GM job at a battle location.
At Scottsdale, Arizona.
Moving to Calgary for a stint between that. And for him to perform and come through all that with so many eyes on him to perform at this level, I feel the next 7, or I'm going to say the next match, will go 7.
Yeah. You got to think that just with all of the stats that you just laid out from Stron and everything that he's been through this year, and even just through today going undefeated to this point before meeting Julio again, that he's going to rebound here in the final match and that we're going to go that full 7, as you said.
Exactly right. Again, we were talking about millimeters of difference in the performance of the 2 throwers here today. Julio, again, his consistency throughout this tournament has really been something that we haven't seen for a long time in the big axe.
Yeah.
Stron has delivered quite well in that area. A few small little blips with concentration.
Yeah.
I believe the day is getting very long. It's very hot in here.
Yes.
High level of concentration. He's being talked to by everybody in between the matches here.
And he's got his fan crew that's wearing his shirt.
I have one. I just can't wear it right now, but I have the Super Stron shirt. I'll call it that.
Super Stron, that's what we called it. There it is.
And they're taking a minute here just to kind of relax.
Reset and relax, as you can see, as the trophy is coming out and has been polished off. Similar to the Stanley Cup, it has been polished and brought out of its case.
That's right.
Put on presentation, as it is guaranteed to be presented to one of these 2 competitors at the end of this match.
Well, that trophy would look pretty nice with a $10,000 check put in it too.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
it would. Now,
the $3,500 that the loser walks away with isn't so bad, but that extra 10 will go far at the bar this evening, I think.
There's a little more shine on the 10 than there is on that 3,500.
And again, speaking to that sponsorship money, we want to thank our sponsors again for all of their support and allowing us to do what we're doing here today with the National Axe Throwing Federation here at the National Axe Throwing Championships for 2019. Displaying the best throwers from 2018 year. We're finishing it off, wrapping it off here at the start of 2019, and we wouldn't be able to do that without our sponsors that have been here from the beginning and that have helped us through to this point and will continue to support us, we hope, as we move forward. Because they want to see this sport grow as much as we do. That's what's great about having them on board.
That's exactly right. Now, if I look at the tournament bracket, no matter how you filled it out, this was a real possibility for a final match. So with all the chatter that happened pre-tournament, with some of our U.S. competitors who threw very, very strong today, represented their sport, which is really new into our southern borders, and even across what we had 7 countries represented here today, expanding like almost weekly, that we have 2 friends that know how to throw, or who do throw with each other, or have been in the past, is pretty incredible.
It certainly is, and they're about to partake in their 3rd match against each other of the day. The first one went to Stron Riley in 7 rounds. The second one went to Julio in 4 rounds. And let's see what happens here in match number 2 of the championship final. Match number 3 between these 2 competitors on the day. Who will take home the Wilson Cup? We're going to find out right now. It's Julio. That might be his first miss in about 100 throws.
Now, they had a bit of a cooling off period there.
They did.
A little bit of a distraction in between the matches. Could be that as momentary lapse of concentration.
Yep. But he regains it and stays within 2 here, 10-8.
In Julio fashion, of course, a smile through it all.
Always smiling, always laughing, always enjoying his time, just being on the lane, throwing that axe, being with his competitor. Now, I don't suspect Stron will do anything but throw a clutch here on his final axe, and that should end the round.
I believe that to be true. Yes, he did call clutch.
And he gets it, so we head to round 2. Stron Riley takes the first round of match number 2.
Now, when you're coming through the rankings as you're in a tournament like this, you make that judgment on how you're performing, whether clutch is your strongest move or you go bull and then go to big axe.
Yeah. And sticking with what you're confident in you're going to hit.
That's right.
Not wavering from that. If you miss your clutch, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the round. You can move on to that next round. It's not a big deal, but if you're confident you can hit it, there's no reason not to. End that round, get it out of the way.
In particular, these two performers, that's the move that I would make it. These guys are just so consistent and so well at what they do that clutch is the move.
So axe number 2 of round 2 is double bullseyes again. And we're tied at 10, axe number 3.
Now, just an observation, when you look at these two throwers, they know each other. They've thrown together for many leagues, or at least in the same area.
Julio high there, but it's good. Sorry to interrupt you there.
They look like twins. They're dressed the same. They have the same grip, same stance, same delivery.
Avery was commenting on that just before she left and just how similar they are, noticing that in match number 1. It is quite funny to see, and speaks to how, Stron misses his first clutch in a long time. And Julio hits, and we're tied 1-1 here in round 3 of match 2. Tied 1-1. It is best 4 out of 7.
There's a lot of energy in here right now. And we just want these guys to be able to stay within the moment, throw by throw, shot by shot. It's still up to them to execute, even though it looks easy to the person that might be watching right now. These guys really have to stay in the match.
And Stron dials it back in, hitting his bullseye. Staying in the moment is definitely huge, as you just said, Will. And you've seen it from throw to throw here between them. Like the Julio in round 1 threw that 1-3, but dialed it back in when he needed to. And now we're tied. Stron misses his clutch, but has dialed it back in, hitting his bullseyes again.
Again, I think we're going to see this as a back and forth match, going to big axe. As a fellow thrower, I really would like to see it all come down to like a big axe kind of conclusion.
As we got last year. We were treated to that last year when Stron won.
And just
he was in Julio's position. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, just seeing some of the interaction, the interplay between Aaron Gerard last year and Stron Riley leading into that final throw, which determined the tournament, was pretty interesting and something that we don't see very often at this level. Just that, hey, I'm not going to declare what I'm going to do until you throw.
But they made that agreement in advance, as they do here, where they, as you'll see, I'm sure, if they both hit their bullseyes here, and we've seen and we talked about earlier today, having that competitor's agreement to go with and stick with the throw that you've decided upon. Whereas Aaron last year, he made it clear before that big axe throw that he was going to wait until Stron made his throw and decide whether he would go bullseye or clutch. As Julio goes high there, and Stron takes a 2-1 lead. Julio hits a 3 instead of the bullseye, and we go to round 4, 2-1 for Stron.
Now we're jumping matches here. It's alternating wins right now. I have a feeling this is what we're going to see for the next 4 matches. 4 rounds, I should say.
So here we go, round number 4. 2-1 lead for Stron in this best 4 out of 7. Match number 2, championship final.
That's
the winner
right. The
takes
winner
home the Wilson Cup and $10,000. Tied at 10 here, axe number 3. And Julio low on that one. That's a tough break. Just a little bit of an extra snap at the end there, perhaps.
Typically, when you're throwing deep into a match and you get a low 3 like that, you're not setting your axe into your position for release. You're getting a bit early, and you have muscle memory on how far to release, and it comes a bit low.
So we see here Julio down by 2, but he throws his clutch first. But it makes no difference because Stron hits his. Julio is just trying to put a little bit of pressure, maybe getting to Stron's head a little bit to try and knock him off his game.
Exactly right. Now we have what we call again, a gentleman's agreement whereby the person leading might throw first, but that's not a rule. Right. You can go in as strategy, throwing first to put the pressure on the other opponent.
Yeah. So here we go. Stron Riley looking to redeem his title and the Wilson Cup, leading 3 rounds to 1 here in round number 5 of match number 2 in the National Axe Throwing Championship final. And they're both double bulls, tied at 10, axe number 3.
I get kind of wrapped up in watching the tournament myself, watching these guys perform at this level, the consistency, and we're getting really right down to the wire, and Julio is under the gun.
He's going to need to at least force Big X here to give himself a chance, but hoping for something, a mistake from Stron that he's not giving him so far.
Stron,
as they both go double bullseyes again.
Stron has really reined it in after that first match, losing those 4 straight in a sweep.
Clutch is hit, and we're going back to Big X. So Julio will need to win this Big Axe to force game 6.
Just really to stay alive.
Yeah.
He'll finish second if he does not win this round. He starts us off here. Of course, they're going to go bull into entry to clutch. Bull is your gateway points that we're looking at to get into this clutch battle.
And he hauls it back in after throwing a 3 with his last Big Axe attempt. He hits that bullseye this time, and Stron will need to match here to keep this round going.
I expect him to match the 5 as Julio just threw.
Ooh, he does. Just kissing the line there, but he tucks it in.
That axe had a little less steam on it, and it kind of floated it in there, and he still made it.
It was looking like it was about to slide. You're right, Will.
Yeah.
Didn't quite make it to the board, but it made it just enough. Oh, split right in half from Julio.
Again, I'm amazed that he couldn't have put more axe into that 2-inch target.
No, definitely not, and he's been so consistent with that today. And he gets it, Stron, with a chest pump and a shirt pull. Continues this round.
Now Stron, when he does deliver on a shot, he does turn to his competitor and has some kind of motion. It's either a double fist pump, the shirt grab.
Julio matches, though, not intimidated, as he tries to amp the crowd and get them back on his side. Although I don't know that they ever left it.
He's got a lot of fans here.
And he gets it. We keep going.
The amount of focus that these 2 gentlemen are displaying right now under the pressure for $10,000 is pretty incredible.
Yep. Something else for sure. Whoa! And Julio's blowing away, so this is it. Comes down to this potentially. A miss here, we keep going. But a stuck clutch, and for the 2nd year in a row, Stron Riley will be the National Axe Throwing Federation champion.
He's fired up. He's seen that miss. He's pointing like this is going down right now. He came over, he tapped the wall, he's lining up. He's fired up for this shot.
Here we go. Oh, is it? It's close. He says no, and we keep going. He doesn't even let the referee come in and have a look. He's blowing away. This time last year, that was in the clutch. This match was done. Stron was the champion. Today we keep going. Is this Julio's opportunity?
Oh my Lord. This is actually blowing my mind right now.
Julio dials it back in, and here we go.
Lots of emotion right now. So much on the line for both of these guys. Julio to stay in, Stron to take the win.
Now Stron to stay in. And he's high and outside, and we have ourselves a 3-2 match. Julio takes round 5. We head to round number 6 of match number 2. Julio has pulled it back. It was 3-1 for Stron. It is now 3-2, and Julio looks to force game 7.
You can get into a funny position when you're leading in, especially when Stron was up 3-1. Sometimes you know you have a bit of wiggle room, and helps you relax a little bit into your throw. Sometimes outside of the area, like the level of concentration you need to maintain. Julio has no other choice but to maintain that highest level of performance just to stay in the match.
That's right. And he hit his shot, and we stay in this match. Tied at 10 here is Julio with a little bit high. And I say a little bit high. He's barely touching the 3 zone. But compared to what they've been throwing for this entire match, it was almost missed.
That's exactly right. I mean, these guys aren't even touching paint for the majority of their throws. That means they're dialed in. And as I've said before, and maybe some of the other conversations that I've had with people, is that their focus point is literally a pinhole in the center of that bullseye, which is 7 inches in diameter.
Yeah. That screw hole is looking awfully big in the middle of that target. As Stron hits. Julio's wide! Oh my goodness! Stron Riley! Back-to-back champion!
Wow. Wow.
That was entirely unexpected.
It caught me off guard. I didn't know what to think. With Julio missing the clutch, he doesn't miss.
He doesn't. He hasn't all day. But it doesn't matter now. Stron Riley is the national axe throwing champion for the 2nd straight year. A kiss from his girlfriend, a hug, and a few tears.
A lot of emotion right now.
What a performance.
As I said earlier, we talked at 9 o'clock this morning or 9:30 this morning. He's feeling a lot of pressure coming into this tournament. So many people, a lot of them here today.
Wow, okay.
What
an unbelievable finish. I don't know if any of us expected that finish. That was an amazing, amazing match. Both rounds just going and going and going. I can't believe the finish here. But we're gonna have the tournament prize presentation and trophies in just a moment. The trophy here to my right. We're just gonna bring the winner over here, and we're gonna bring it all in. But thanks so much to our sponsors. Thanks so much to everyone who's here today. This was an incredible, incredible tournament, an incredible crowd. What a showing, and what an accomplishment for our winners. I believe we're going to follow it over here with Wilson, who's going to be taking our winners back over to the trophies in just a second. Just want to say one last thing here, guys. Congratulations to both. Stron for the repeat, our 2-time champion. Give it up for your 2-time champion, Stron Riley, everyone.
Okay, Julio, get over here too. Where's LaChance? But first things first, that was an insane match. What a roller coaster of emotions. I was losing it. Stron, come here, buddy. Hold that thing up, boy! on down, come on down. Wilson. All right, guys, out. All right. First off, okay, we got 3 crazy stories here. First off, LaChance, man, where did you come from? It was amazing. What is going on? 3rd place, Mr. LaChance. Unreal, buddy. Amazing stuff. Okay, and here we go. What an epic final. Some epic matches throughout the tournament. Mr. Julio Romero in 2nd place, buddy. Unbelievable. Hold it up. And the last one, you know, taking off with 10 G's, my man. Stron Riley in number 1. Hold it up. Let's get all 3 of you guys together. Is that cool? All 3 of you together. Let's do it in front of the backdrop. Everything. I look good. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of this. The day is not done. Hang out, have drinks, throw in skills, because that shit is still happening. And hopefully I'll see a bunch of you tonight and tomorrow. What the fuck just happened? Love you guys, love you guys.
All right, staff still on skills. If you guys could go to your lanes, we're going to finish off time trial.